I was enjoying my day. I really was enjoying my day. I was getting a lot of stuff done. Okay. I was getting a ton of things done until 3:43, 2 minutes before I went live, where we get this stupid headline now. This completely messed up how I was about to start the market close. Like the entire thing got messed up. Really? 703 on the S&P? We were just at 707.50. Oh my gosh. AP, Vance calls off his trip to Pakistan. And down we go. And down we go. I knew there was something a little smelly about this Pakistan negotiation not starting earlier today. I mean, Trump said in the morning that everyone was on the flight already to Pakistan. Apparently, the flight hadn't even taken off. We found out by the end of the market open. Now we're finding out that Vance isn't even going. Iranian news media agency, Iran won't end a new round of talks, says an Iranian official. Pakistan informed Iran that Trump will lift the naval blockade in the final hours of the ceasefire. If the ceasefire is extended, new talks could occur on Thursday. This is so weird, bro. This is so weird. Do we really think there's not going to be an extension of the ceasefire and we're going to go back to fighting tomorrow? Because if we do, I mean, S&P is losing 7,000 pretty quickly. If we actually start bombing their energy infrastructure, that's not going to be the best thing. S&P right there, down 1% on the day. Trying to get some more coverage on Vance calling off his trip to Pakistan. You've got the Iranian officials saying they don't want to have a new talk until the blockade is gone. Pakistan informing Iran that Trump will lift the blockade tonight. And it's almost like the Iranians are then waiting for Trump to do that before the talks start on Thursday. And now it looks like Vance is not even going on this trip, which is a bit confusing. NBIS goes red, SPY goes red, Lilly goes red, Tesla 386, Palantir 145, SOFI down, Hood's probably down right there, 86.58, Reddit down, SoundHound down, Lockheed, Raytheon, Beyond Meat, everything just going down. Again, I'm still trying to get the headlines on exactly what's happening. All we have is this AP report saying that Vance is not going anymore, which, you know, on Saturday, it was rumored that Vance would not be going and only Kushner and Witkoff would be going, which I thought was kind of weird because I thought Vance was the main guy on the first trip. And the AP is not saying that Kushner and Witkoff aren't going. They're saying Vance in particular aren't going. So is the whole thing off the table, or is just Vance off the table when it comes to these negotiations? Dude, I was so ready to start the market close. I already had planned what I was going to say. I had a bunch of different stories. We've got earnings after the bell, Technical Tuesday. And then I just start seeing these red candles on the side of my screen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Well, we got to see if it's actually legit, though. We got to see if it's actually legit. Maybe there's no need for the VP to go. Maybe. Someone said maybe the deal is already signed and we don't need to negotiate. That's the most optimistic scenario. Maybe the deal is already signed. If I said that, all of you in the chat would be like, this guy's so gullible. He doesn't understand anything. But, you know, maybe the deal is signed. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we got the deal. 703.90. This is annoying. This is very, very annoying. AP, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance expected to lead U.S. negotiators if talks continue, but called off a trip to Pakistan. How does that make any sense? Why is that happening? What do you mean J.D. Vance is expected to lead U.S. negotiators, but called off a trip? Why is he calling off the? Well, maybe the Iranians aren't going. That's why he called off the trip. Yeah, where's the DocuSign? Can they just send the DocuSign and we get this over with? Also, why does the AP only have this news? Where are the other media outlets that have this headline around what's going on? Dude, I really don't think that we're not going to get a ceasefire extension tonight. Like, Trump has said, yeah, I can go back to bombing him. But did we spend all this time to go back to bombing each other? Like, I think in the 12th hour, they're going to extend the ceasefire, and Trump's going to say negotiations are going great. As a result, I've extended the ceasefire. Like, I think that's how it plays out again. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, if not, then we're going lower because we're going back to war. Vance's trip to Pakistan has been postponed indefinitely, a U.S. source tells the AP. Trying to get a bit more coverage here, but I don't see it. Again, we were actually close to going green, guys. It was 335. We were down 50 cents on the day. Like, I actually thought there was a world in which we either flip green or end out really flat on the day, which would have been incredible given the red that we saw earlier in the day based on the oil spike. Oh, where's oil? Amazon losing 250. Oil is back at 91.80. Why not? Why freaking not? 249.50 right there. What is the timeline on the deadline? I believe it's tomorrow the ceasefire ends. Tomorrow. Why are you guys saying today the ceasefire ends? I thought it's tomorrow. Isn't it tomorrow the ceasefire on Wednesday, not today? If it's tonight, that's worse, but it is tomorrow, right? Why are you guys saying tonight? It's not tonight. I don't think it is. By the way, is IREN using their ATM or something? 7% down? What happened? NBIS and CRWV are doing okay. So why is IREN getting hit like this? CRWV right there down about 2%. NBIS down about 2%. It's because of the time difference. Let me ask Gemini. When is the Iran-US ceasefire deadline in Eastern time? It is, as per Gemini, Wednesday, April 22nd, 8 p.m. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday. So if for anything, it would be Thursday for the Iranians if the deadline is Wednesday, April 22nd, 8 p.m. A lot of you guys are saying today. Okay, I'm going to try to find the exact details, but Reuters is saying it's Wednesday, April 22nd, 8 p.m. right after earnings. Dude, why couldn't have they done this one more week? Let big tech report. Then we get back to all this. Cypher and IREN both down 7%. Yeah, that's the story, folks. If you're just joining, I was going to talk about how although the negotiations haven't started, that multiple news outlets are reporting that the negotiations will eventually start. But now, right before I went live, we are getting reports that Vance is indefinitely postponing the trip. And Iran's news agency is saying they have no interest to continue negotiating. Caitlin, our girl Caitlin from the New York Post, let's see what she has to say. She is saying Pakistani officials say the ceasefire is scheduled to end at 4:50 a.m. Pakistani time on Wednesday, which is 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. Okay, that's why you guys have been saying Tuesday. But the White House did not respond to multiple requests for confirmation. And President Trump told Bloomberg News on Monday that the ceasefire expires Wednesday evening, Washington time. I would default to Wednesday evening, not tonight. I feel like if it was tonight, you would have a lot more urgency to at least begin the process of negotiation so that Trump could then issue the extension on the ceasefire. But then again, like this is the part about this whole negotiating process that's been crazy. Like we don't even know who exactly we're talking to. There's these different factions in Iran, and then Pakistani officials are like, well, actually, it ends tonight. And then Trump is like, no, I'm the one who came up with the ceasefire. It ends tomorrow night. Like, yeah, we're fighting over the time zone now at this point. This is just, oh my gosh, this is pretty incredible right here. Where's the 10-year? Are we spiking? 10-year is 4.3. That's not good. Equities obviously going down. SPY, I hope we don't lose 7,000, but I don't think we will. It's just the algos are definitely taking the broader market down on this headline. 703.60, down about 0.7% of the day. Down about 0.7%. Absolute cinema. That is correct. It's the IRGC leader who's outranking the politicians. You know, I mean, we talked about that yesterday morning. It does seem like there's officials in the IRGC that are having more sway over the negotiations than the people we're negotiating with. And I wonder if Trump comes to the conclusion, which is, I can't negotiate with these people. We just have to go into a military confrontation, which obviously would not be the best thing for oil, would not be the best thing for the markets, would not be the best thing going into the midterms. Like it would just be more escalation. And I wonder how the market reacts at that point. Or do both sides somewhat come to an agreement that, yeah, enough is enough. We need to have some type of negotiation right here. Amcor still trying to hold on to 70. Bloom Energy, it was up a lot more, still green. D-Wave down 6%. Adobe down 5%. Broadcom at 400. S&P 703.65, CoreWeave down 2%. Where's Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin's got to be dumping on this. Bitcoin, yeah, 75 to 74. I mean, that is, there you go, 75.9 actually to 74.9. The VIX should be spiking. Let me check VIX right now. Such an annoying way to end the day, dude. VIX up 8%. VIX up 8%. We will have Technical Tuesday today, correct. But we have a bunch of earnings after the bell before we have TT. We have United, Ibkr, Capital One, Intuitive Surgical. And I thought we would be getting into those earnings without too much volatility because the deals, although they're not going through, they were set to go through, but this immediately puts a wrench into that narrative, at least for the short term. NVIDIA right there down 1%. Apple down 2.4%. The new Apple CEO, John Turnus, put out a memo today, and he said AI will create superpowers for the world, and Apple will change the world once again with our progress in AI. It was the internal memo he sent out to his employees today. I hope he's right about that. But ultimately, the market will decide. It wasn't enough to pump the stock today. We are down 2% on Apple. OpenAI, they released Images 2.0. So that was their big announcement at 12 p.m., Images 2.0. I didn't watch the live stream. I don't know if anyone did. But it's probably just going to be better AI images, which is fine. But the problem is these images of reptiles and birthday cakes don't matter if oil is at $100. So we kind of got to resolve this thing first to keep moving down, to keep moving out of this situation. So annoying, bro. We were literally almost flipping green on the day on the index. 704, 702.64 is where we bottomed today. We'll see if we can hold that level. Again, Pakistani officials say the ceasefire is scheduled to end tonight in a couple hours. Vance's trip to Pakistan has been postponed indefinitely, as per the AP. And so far, it doesn't look like, at least for now, that a deal is in place. AMD, though, holding on to his 3% pump. NVIDIA did lose 200. AMD, what was the high for today? I think it was 286. Yeah, 283. Still a great day. Still a great day for AMD. Axios citing a U.S. source, postponement of Vance's trip to Pakistan until further notice. Why do they keep saying Vance and not the U.S.? Like, am I reading too much into that? That other people are going to go instead of Vance? Or does Vance represent everyone else? Maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe it's just Vance equals the U.S. But the only reason I'm bringing it up is because on Saturday, there were reports that Vance was not going, but Kushner and Witkoff were, which made no sense to me because they didn't even like Kushner and Witkoff. So it's a little confusing for why that's actually playing out. They need to blame someone. Well, that might be another reason. Microsoft at least having a good day, 424. That was up 1%. HIMS on that Amazon news did get a recovery. It was down 10. Now it's only down 3. With Amazon coming up with their new GLP stuff, that hurt Lilly as well. Snapchat was down 5%. Beyond Meat down 9%. Where's CAR? 715 again. 715 again. It did fall all the way to 569 at 12:30. 3 hours later, back at 715. This stock is unbelievable. But there you go. You should be going with them. I've been offering, as a patriot, my services to go help the United States get this deal done. No one has called on me. If they do, I will be there as a representative for my country, but I'm not calling on your boy. I really think I could get the job done. Really think I can get the job done. It looks like we're going to go red on the day. We got about 40 seconds left, and then we've got earnings. 704.24. Put in the chat what you did today. If you bought, sold, trimmed. This is the second red day in a row after a basically 2.5 week run. So you're going to maybe get some jitters out there. I got a bunch of new stats for you guys. They'll get you bulled up about how much market momentum is there. But when the oil headlines come back, when the war headlines come back, it's a little tough for the street to continue to stay bullish. And so we got to see, I guess, going into tonight, if the ceasefire is over as per the Pakistanis, or if there will be some level of an extension and eventual trip to Pakistan for negotiations here. April 21st, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The stock market, once again, is closed. All right, we go red for 2 days in a row. 704.15 on the S&P. We were literally at 707.87 20 minutes ago before this news came out. And now we end up going red. Iran's Tanzim News Agency, which is affiliated with the IRGC, reported on Tuesday afternoon that the Iranian negotiating team has informed the U.S. through the Pakistani mediators that it will not be present on Wednesday in Pakistan, and that there is now no outlook for Iranian participation in the negotiations. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, that is the Iranian news agency associated with IRGC, which obviously wants to create more chaos and doesn't want negotiations. I would be very perplexed if the parliament speaker and the president of Iran both also don't want negotiations. And I guess the Ayatollah has the final say on if the negotiations happen or not, but I would imagine both sides want a deal. I guess time will tell on if we actually get this deal. Bitcoin, 75,000, that's down. Nebius was down 2% on the day. Cypher was down 6%. IREN was down 7%. CRWV was down 2%. Robinhood down 5%. NVIDIA down 1%. Apple down 2%. Amazon ended the day just slightly green, up 0.65%. UNH, great day, but it was down from 356. Still up 7%. Microsoft ended up 1.46%. The Googs also got hit hard today. Not sure why. Google right there, down about 2%. On the day, Palantir, I think we closed at 145, 145.97, just below 146 on Palantir. You had NVIDIA again at that $200 level, Amazon at 249, then Meta, I think below 670, 668.84 on Meta. All right, earnings. We are back into earnings. Then we'll get into Technical Tuesday. Let's see what we've got for earnings. Ibkr goes down. That's not good for Robinhood or Webull, but Ibkr is down. Let me get the numbers in a second. United is beating EPS by 10%. United Airlines, they are beating revenue by 2%. UAL, that stock is flat. That stock is flat. United Airlines sees fiscal year adjusted EPS from 7 to 11, down from 12 to 14. The estimate was $9. Okay, so they're lowering the low end and the high end of their guidance for fiscal year 2020. And they kind of have to, right? I mean, oil is up 50%. That's the biggest input cost. Like that should not be a surprise to the street, quite frankly. And I don't think it is. Stock's down 1%, but I think most of that is probably priced in. Still not a good thing to see. Not good for the other airlines. Ibkr, though, that one down 4% is not the best to see right there. We'll try to get some of those in a second. This is the coverage on United, and then we'll try to get the other earnings that we have.
It does show you we weren't
because of the impact of jet fuel. United earning $1.19 a share in the first quarter. The street was at $1.07. Revenue coming in at $14.61 billion, just above the estimate of $14.37 billion. The numbers within the numbers, with the exception of jet fuel, these are strong numbers. Revenue per seat mile up 7.4% compared to the same quarter last year. Cost per seat mile up 5.9% compared to the first quarter of last year. Now you start to see the impact of jet fuel, especially when you look at jet fuel, the cost alone up 12.6% year over year. Pre-tax margin of 3.4%. Domestic revenue, international revenue, premium, corporate, they're all up substantially. Domestic up 10.2% year over year. International up 12.2% year over year. There's the demand that United has been talking about. It's still there. Premium revenue up 14%. Corporate revenue up 14%. And finally, main cabin revenue up 7%. Now for the guidance. For the second quarter, United expects to earn between $1 and $2 a share. Just for a point of reference, the street right now is at $2.08 for the second quarter. They are also going to be, for the second half of this year, cutting their capacity, or essentially adjusting their capacity. It will be flat to up 2% versus the previous plan as they adjust to the market that is out there right now. And for 2026, they are cutting their guidance. Previously, we're expecting to earn between $12 and $14 a share. The company now says it expects to earn between $7 $11 a share.
So that's causing United to go down. IBKR looks like they came in line with EPS and revenue. EPS 60 cents. They came in at 60 cents. Revenue 1.68. Some metrics I'm seeing said it was about 1.67, but that's basically coming in line. Yeah, revenue 1.67. That's not necessarily the worst, but that's not a beat or a raise. Revenue's up 20%, EPS is up 28%, and that probably means that Robinhood is either going to come in below expectations or just at expectations if you have a very intense amount of downside activity when it comes to trading. IBKR down 4, United Airlines down 1. Intuitive Surgical, that stock is up 1%. Don't have their numbers yet. Capital One is down 1%. I don't have their numbers either. Wow, Adobe announces $25 billion share buyback. Adobe's up 5%. I mean, to be honest, if I'm the Adobe CEO, I take that $25 billion and I would just invest into Anthropic. This 5%, it might last, it might not, but that Anthropic equity is the hottest commodity on the planet right now. They're doing the exact same thing Salesforce did, buying back their stock. Hold on. How much cash does Adobe have? Because Salesforce does not have $25 billion. They had to dilute and take out debt just to buy back their stock. Adobe has $6.9 billion in cash as of February 2026. Okay, so they don't have $25 billion. Let's be very clear about that. In fact, Palantir has more cash than Adobe. Palantir has about $7.3 billion. So Adobe is going to be issuing some debt at a lower cost than what they think their shares will yield in the public market. And ultimately, they're going to have to be right about that, because if they borrow at like 7%, but the stock is not returning more than 7%, then it's going to be a really bad decision. Adobe right there, $25 billion share buybacks, 3.5%. That stock is green. Intuitive Surgical, that's flat. Capital One, that's down 2.4. United Airlines down 1. IBKR still down 3.6. We also have Chubb Limited. This is a big Berkshire stock. That's up about 1%. Insurance company, shouldn't be too volatile after hours anyway, but we'll try to get those numbers. 332 after hours. Premiums 14.01 versus 13.4 billion. Revenue, they beat by 17%, 13.4 versus 11.5, year-over-year growth of 12%. EPS, they beat 682 versus 661 by 3%, year-over-year of 85% growth on EPS. The most important thing for some of these companies, even if you don't own them, is are they beating expectations? Because for the broader S&P 500 to go up, we've got to beat the expectations. We've got to raise the expectations so that multiple can expand. And if we don't do that, it's going to be a little tough at these multiples. So very important to see if that plays out. Adobe up 3% on those buybacks. IBKR kind of, it's down, but not down as much as it was. UAL down 1, and then ISRG still don't have their numbers. But that is flat. Yeah, that is 25% of Adobe. What's Adobe's market cap? Adobe, I did not know Adobe's market cap was under 100 billion. 99 billion. Wow. Yeah, this was a 200-something billion dollar company a couple years ago. So that they're buying back 25% of the company. Now, they're not going to do it all at once. It's probably going to take them, I would argue, maybe 2 years, unless they get really aggressive on it. But buying back 25% of the entire stock, dude. That is incredible. Yes, we will have Technical Tuesday in about 10 minutes. IBKR right there, down 2.4. UAL down 1.4. Capital One, that one's getting hit now, down 5. What do they come out with? Let's see Capital One's numbers. They acquired Brex the other day for $5 billion. I don't know how much the street liked it. Capital One, what do we got here? They missed on net interest income. Revenue, $15.2 billion. Interest margin, 7.8 versus 8.19. That's what the street's not happy about. Provision for credit losses, 4.07 versus 3.81. That means they have some bad loans on their books, or at least more than expected. Every bank has bad loans, but they have a bit more, which is why they are higher on the provision for credit losses. And then adjusted EPS, 442 versus 406. Okay, so they beat on EPS. They beat on revenue. But they missed on their net interest margin, which is very important for banks. That stock down 5%. That's capital none. Now you guys are gonna call Capital One a scam, dude. Honestly, I don't. Does anyone use Capital One? Like, I don't like. It's probably a silly thing for me to ask, but I don't know that many people that use Capital One. But they've got one of the biggest credit cards, right? I think they have like one of the most important credit cards that's out there. Capital One down 4.75. Big candle, good or bad? Is it good or bad on the candle? It's good. Oh, that's a big candle. Good. Trump extending ceasefire. Let's go, baby. Extending ceasefire until Iran submits unified proposal and discussions conclude. Statement from President Donald J. Trump, as per Twitter. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. President Donald J. Trump. Okay, did anyone, and I'm not even trying to be arrogant here, but did anyone seriously think the ceasefire was not going to be extended today? Like, did anyone really think we did all of this negotiating to go back to bombing energy infrastructure tonight? I mean, this is one of the more predictable ceasefire extensions. I think, yeah, we didn't spend 2 weeks and $7 trillion added to the S&P 500 for us to erase all of that to go back to bombing right before the midterms and right before Q1 earnings. Like, it makes sense for him to extend the ceasefire for the good of humanity, for the good of getting this war over with, but also it benefits him because he knows the market cannot handle more of this stuff. It is a Tuesday. Once again, it is a Tuesday. The reason he's probably doing that, everything's up after hours, is because the Iranians apparently think the ceasefire ends tonight. Trump has been saying the ceasefire is going to end on Wednesday. I guess he didn't want to. I mean, dude, Trump probably didn't even want to take any chances with the Iranians thinking the ceasefire ended tonight without an extension, which is why he's issuing this extension 3 hours before the quote unquote Iranian deadline, even though he said this morning it was Wednesday, 8 p.m., not Tuesday, 7 p.m. And there you go. There you go. I mean, it makes sense that we're seeing this right here. ISRG, Intuitive Surgical, that's up 2%. They beat on EPS 250 versus 211. That's up 40% year over year. They beat by 18%. That's a hell of an earnings. Revenue, they beat by 5%. Revenue's up 23% year over year, 2.77 billion versus 2.62 billion. See, you know, the S&P was headed towards green 20 minutes before that AP article came out about Vance's trip being suspended. And now I think we know why. Trump is basically saying that the Iranians can't get along with each other. He's talking about the IRGC and the parliament. And as a result, he's giving them more time to figure this out, which I think is very consistent with all the reporting that we saw today. Yeah, VIX down 7%. A lot of the reporting was just like the Iranians don't freaking know if they're going to negotiate or if they're going to keep fighting or if they have the approval by different factions to continue talking with the U.S. And it looks like Trump right there is, when these guys figure their stuff out, we'll get back to negotiating. But I personally don't want to go back to bombing them until they figure it out, which is kind of what I think most people expected. He doesn't want to have a war. He wants this to be over with.
Headlines. So this coming from the president of the United States just a couple of minutes ago. He says, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. He says, I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. That just a couple of moments ago from the president of the United States. So here we have now, Melissa, the U.S. side saying it is unilaterally extending the ceasefire. We have the Iranian side, as I just reported a couple of minutes ago, saying they're not going to participate in negotiations. The president saying he's going to keep this this blockade, naval blockade, in place in the Strait of Hormuz indefinitely now. And so that leaves you at sort of a standoff. The president is saying here until he's going to keep this blockade in place until the proposal is submitted, that is a proposal from the country of Iran. Iran just said they're not participating in negotiations. So it's not clear that any proposal is in the offing at all here. And what you might have is a more or less indefinite standoff until some kind of breakthrough behind the scenes happens. The president saying he's now unilaterally going to extend the ceasefire. We don't have confirmation, of course, from the Iranian side that they're going to agree on their terms to extend the ceasefire. We'll see if they make an equivalent announcement here in the next couple of minutes that they accept the continuation of this ceasefire. If they don't, of course, that could mean continued attacks against American targets or allied targets throughout the Gulf region. Melissa?
I mean, this effectively means that the Strait of Hormuz is indefinitely closed as well, Eamon, which is the biggest wild card for global economies.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Okay, so more so than the market reaction, which honestly could flip negative for whatever reason. Right now we're holding on the after hours. I am more happy about the fact that it once again seems like Trump does not want to go back to fighting. Like, forget what the stock market is doing. Yes, the stock market's reacting positively towards this tweet, but at the end of the day, the reason he's extending the ceasefire and giving the Iranians time to create a unified proposal is because he wants some type of a deal. And if the Iranians come back and say, we don't want to negotiate at all, then I think we're going to be in a weird situation right here. It will likely continue to be in the standoff. But I would imagine the Iranians, I mean, he didn't even say how long did he say? Did he give a timeline? It's kind of an indefinite extension of the ceasefire. Yeah. Until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. That might be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days. The Strait of Hormuz will continue to be closed until there is a proposal by the Iranians that creates even the foundation for negotiations, which is now why it makes sense why Vance's trip was canceled last minute, because they didn't have a proposal. And so Trump basically allowing indefinite ceasefire until there's a proposal. Intuitive Surge called 4%, and hopefully that proposal leads to the beginning of more negotiations. Oil prices, I would imagine, are still going to be a little rigid here, above 91. Yeah, because, well, at the end of the day, if the Strait of Hormuz is closed and, you know, there is no timeline for when it's going to open, it's going to be a little tough for markets to price in oil coming down. Crude is exactly, well, it is below 90, 89.76. It was 91.72, 89.76. That's not horrible. At least that's a positive reaction to the immediate headline. Well, there you go, folks. After hours, AMD pumping 287, Adobe that 2% on the $25 billion buyback, Palantir back to 147.24. Google's up, Meta's up, Bitcoin's up. Robinhood, look at that. Robinhood was down 5%. That's up 2% now, even after Ibkr's earnings weren't the best. Ibkr still down 2.6%. Yes, it is Taco Tuesday. I get it. It's just every time on a Tuesday somehow. Every freaking time on a Tuesday. I think a lot of people expected an extension of the ceasefire. I didn't think it would happen after hours, but it signals Trump doesn't want to go back to fighting. He wants this shit to be over with. We have so many reports of U.S. officials telling Axios or Politico or the New York Post that Trump wants this to be done. He himself has said so many times, I want this to be over with. And it looks like that might end up happening. Adobe right there, up 2%. AMD, 286.90. Now the question is going to be, when do the Iranians come with a unified proposal? And if we're going to get a unified proposal, because you have all these reports from the Iranians saying they don't even want to negotiate anymore. But I think that's more, you know, the IRGC reporting versus the Iranians themselves, which hopefully leads to some type of a proposal. I think those are all the earnings, right? Those are all the earnings. Is that pretty much it? We did Capital One, we did United, we did Intuitive Surgical, we did Chubb, we did Ibkr. Let me know in the chat if anyone owns any of these stocks. They are not the biggest stocks out there in terms of retail ownership, but still very important companies. ISRG, massive beat on EPS. They deserve to be up 4%. That's a $160 billion company. That stock is year to date down 20%. All right, so that one's been hit this year. United Airlines obviously down this year. AMD still moving after hours. Ibkr year to date is up 18%. Wow, Ibkr massively outperforming Robinhood, like in a meaningful way. Ibkr right there up 2%, or down 2%, but up on the year. S&P 706.40. 706.40. All right, I think that is pretty much it in terms of the actual earnings. And then boom, you got the Trump taco after hours, 147.38. It's not even really a taco to be like, the ceasefire was going to happen. Like, to me, this isn't even him going back. Like, we kind of knew this was going to happen. We were just waiting for it to happen. ServiceNow up after hours. Technically is a taco because this morning he said he wasn't going to extend the ceasefire. Literally 5 hours ago, he's like, I'm not extending it. I'll go back to bombing. And then after hours, he's like, well, we're going to extend it. But at the end of the day, I think everyone knew that this was going to happen. We were going to get some extension. And it looks like that's helping the markets after hour. All right, S&P 706. Let's get into Technical Tuesday. If you're new to the channel, this is the one day of the week where we spend about 3 hours going through all the technicals. And I think we have the single best TA expert on the planet who graciously gives his time every Tuesday to help talk us through and understand technicals. If you don't care about technicals, maybe today will be interesting. If not, then we'll try to mix in some of the fundamentals with trying to understand what's happening with TA. Without further ado, it is once again time to roll the intro. We're live. I can't hear you.
Hello.
You are muted.
Hello,
there you
people.
go. You're back. There you go.
Am I live? Audio check, check, check. We in the house.
Dude, ceasefire extended. Who would have thought?
I saw that. I saw, dude, it's getting real squirrely at the close. Real squirrely.
It was 2 minutes before 3:45. We just had a dumpy dump.
A dumpy dump. Let's see what's going on. This camera. Whoa, whoa. See how big your head is? I should just try to match it. So we're the same size.
By the way, I see Davis said it's his mom's birthday. He's taking her out to eat.
Ooh.
Happy birthday to Mama
Happy
Davis.
birthday, Mama.
Hopefully she enjoys it. You have an amazing son who changed his life with the stock market.
Oh.
So thank you for being here.
Some of these guys, I'm back from the appointment. We got our ultrasounds yesterday.
Oh, how was it?
The 3D ultrasounds are pretty crazy. Yeah. Second time I got one, but I mean, it's if anybody's had one of those or seen one of those, like, it's wild. Like, you can actually see what your kiddo looks like. They look a little pruny. Like, to be fair, they're kind of sitting in a bunch of fluid for a while. Well, their whole lives. So I guess that's to be expected.
You've been through that before, right? Because you had one kid before. So
yeah. Connie, Charlie Brown, man. I'm pretty sure it's locked in as Charlie. Actually.
Charlie freaking Brown. Okay, cool. So before we get started, let me just pull this up real quick. So just to remind everybody, before we get into it, Jason does have a seminar that's going to be happening on this Thursday, right, Jason?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Do you have the link, or do you
yeah, I'm pulling the link in the chat. You can.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about it because we have a lot of stuff to get through. But if you guys are interested, because it is peak earnings season coming, I do this training. It's a free training. Last time I gave away like 10 grand worth of stuff. So if you're into giveaways, I'll probably go a little crazy again. But yeah, I'm an options trader. That's like my thing, what I'm known for. Part of what I'm not what I'm known for here, but out in the real trading world, or the larger trading world, I'm actually known for like being very good at options. And so this is a training on how to trade options through earnings. And if you've ever taken a lotto or whatever, and like, look, I remember back in the day, it was NVIDIA was like my first one. And I was so sure on NVIDIA, like if they're going to crush it, they're going to kill it. And of course they did. The stock went up exactly to my strike. And I was celebrating in the aftermarket, in the after hours. And then I woke up in the morning thinking I'm going to be rich. And yeah, I was
It's not exactly how it works with options. Yeah.
This is how it works. And so this is going to tell you how to avoid those, when to know beforehand if they're going to happen. And if you did want to take actual earnings, it's a real system that I was just so determined to never let that happen again. And
it's free. So Thursday night.
Oh yeah, totally free.
7:30 p.m. Eastern. There's the link right there. I'll put the link again in the description. So for those that want to attend that seminar for free, check out how to kind of play options through earnings, or even if you're just interested in general and options.
Yeah, it's a good exposure. It's not the easiest course, but it's a lot to get through. And again, if you're new to options and you're learning about options, trying to learn about options, what I can say is that you might not be able to absorb all of it, but just being able to see the process, there's no way that you don't leave there getting a lot of benefit. For sure. There's just no way. I've never seen anybody not like this trading. It's one of our better tradings.
All right, let's start off with SPY. I'm going to give you the floor, Jason. I'm curious, what the hell do you think is going on now?
I mean, so I just started the countdown. We're a little bit hot. So coming into earnings season, we typically get this pre-earnings run up. And what I will say is I believe that is over now. And so now we've had a lot of stocks that have made the pre-earnings move. Typically we'll start to see some profit taking just beforehand, especially if your stock has run up quite a bit. And collectively at the index level, that usually looks like a little bit of chop, quite frankly. Technically today we got what's called a double top. And so that is yesterday's high. So Friday's high is exactly today's high also. So we had a bounce. It's Monday's after hours low, Monday's low, which is 706. That's actually going to be, and I'm zoomed in a little bit. So from a day-to-day perspective and what we call a trend count on a daily time frame, let me just change this to a daily, just to be clear. So you can see this a little bit better. From a daily count perspective, when you're looking at trading, there's always something called a setup I watched your interview with, oh my God, what's her name? The TA girl on Basis Points?
Katie Stockton. Yep.
Katie. Yeah, she's really good. I feel like I want to call Steve because one thing she said that stood out to me that was like, I hope they get this. Like, I hope they understand what she said was that there's no indicator that's like the magic button. There's a lot of them that are helpful if you know how to read them. But the one thing that you always lead with is price action. And so whenever I've talked about charts and everything like that, I'm not using a ton of indicators. I'll reference them because people know them, but really we're looking at something called price action. And I'm zoomed in on a daily count. And what we look for is we call it 2 to 3 candlestick setup. So 1, 2, 3, these are daily candlesticks. What we're going to do here is take basically Friday's high and Friday's low right here. These are little blue lines. I maybe make them a little bit thicker for you guys. But at the end of the day, this is what's going to matter. This is what the traders are really going to be looking at, if you will. And so the close of today, closing below Friday's low. So this right here, if we cannot get over 7.0, call it 7.06 for the rest of the week, we're done going up. That's what I can tell you, at least at the index level. Now, doesn't mean that we're going to go down. Typically, like I said, coming into earnings season, we'll see a lot of dips get bought. We'll see a lot of chopping. I don't think that we're gonna, for the month of March, I don't see us going down. At least not while we have peak earnings coming. What I will say though is that we have one piece here that is important. This is that prior all-time high retest. This is at 697 spot 84. So a very good pullback would just be to pull back to about this level and then reclaim again. Right now, that is actually, regardless of what's happening after hours, that's what's in the charts. If we looked at after hours, if I turn this after hours on, I'm on a 30-minute candlestick now. This, what do you call, the ceasefire headline has popped us up to about 705 and change, 706. So we're still borderline. We're not out of the weeds yet. Regardless of what the headlines are saying, if I'm just reading the price action and I'm not trying to get caught up in trying to catch the headlines as they come, the price action is telling me pump the brakes a little bit. Today, I actually did take a lot of profit on some things. We had a lot of really good bounces. Doesn't mean I've closed anything or everything. That's not where I'm at. But this is what I can tell you. These lines right here, 705.76, important, 712.38. That's just going to be obviously that we're going to go to all-time highs. And a bullish retracement is just below 700 into like that 695 type area. What I'll say from there moving forward, we know that I use this thing called NFP stuff, or you guys may not know, I don't know, but I use fundamental levels also that help me define my technical support and resistance areas and the broader trend. So this down to 695 on SPY, that is your very closest term support level. As long as it's still by the dip market, that's fine. That should be near-term viable, but we don't know that that's the actual low. What I don't want to see, and what if you're net long, which most of us are always net long, what you don't really want to see is this kind of retracement down below 690. And so 690 from here on out is going to be very important. Yeah, 695 is a bounce spot. I would say anywhere in this green box, we should expect some kind of a bounce if we see it. But if we do see it and then you catch something like this would be characterized as a lower high below 695. That's when I would be significantly more cautious and maybe start putting on some real hedges at that point in time, because that that would define the suckers rally, if you will, and technically be what we would call a look above and fail. And if we are going to fail like that, which we don't know, this I don't think is going to happen this month, just to put that off to the side. I don't think this can happen until May. So like, I'm not that worried about it right now. I think after we get through peak earnings, after we get through GDP, after we get through J-PAL's FOMC, that's when this becomes like, or at least some kind of pullback becomes more realistic. Between now and then, we can continue going higher. I might be talking about a retracement like up here at that point. Who knows? So that's why we just want to follow the price action for right now. What we know is true is that we have a double top at the index level, and we closed towards the lows today. We did get a ceasefire announcement or somewhat of, but I'm giving you guys the levels right now. 705. We want it to hold. Otherwise, expect a pullback into the low 700, like mid to low 690s, at least until there. And then from that point, we have to kind of see, like at that point, it's like, well, are we going to get a higher low? If we're holding 705 tomorrow, like, and we're pushing higher, this is all a moot conversation. Like, it doesn't matter. So moving on.
Are you like vibes wise, are you feeling a bit more bearish here just because you think we're overextended, or the bulls are continue to buy the dip, which makes you feel comfortable?
So I think days like today are very important. I think separating a couple things, and I didn't start the timer now, but I'm on to a different topic at this point. But I think, so Amit and I had a conversation earlier today, and it was, I mean, to summarize it, I think on days like today, intraday, I could see that we're having a bit of a topping situation here. But as you scan through your stocks, what's really, really important and moving forward, I keep talking about this thing called relative strength. Katie mentioned it on your basis points interview also. I think that's the biggest thing right now. And when you look around the market, regardless of what the index is doing, I'm just telling you right now, I'm still seeing a fracking raging bull market in the right places. And so this bifurcated economy, things like that, I think still hold true regardless. And when you look at specific stocks like Arista, right? Arista, which is, I mean, where's my pullback on Arista? Like, where is it? I'm seeing it. We're just blasting through all-time highs. I haven't looked at this. I know Astera, again, no pullbacks here. So I even Synopsis, I was like, I'm waiting for a freaking pullback to load this bad boy. I mean, it took a shot anyways at the leaps, but dude, when I still look at this, our collective Fastly, I mean, where's the pullback? So like, that's not happening in the right stocks. And I think that's my point is if your stock is serving specifically the hyperscalers, meaning if the company that you're looking to trade is specifically selling to the hyperscalers, just like NVIDIA is typically a no-brainer long into earnings season, I think at minimum, those stocks remain extremely strong, relatively speaking, and are still in very much raging bull markets. Regardless of what SPY does, I think these things continue to buck the trend. And if you're looking to buy dips, I think it's incredibly important to know that this is very likely where, I'll just say, this is where I want to buy dips. The software sector is great, but like as IGV is selling off today, what was not selling off? The data center AI build out. They're not selling off, right? That's incredibly strong. I don't think the market's questioning that. And that's exactly where I still want to be today. So, yeah. So while I'm talking about a little bit of a pullback or even potentially a larger pullback at the index level, I just want to be clear. I'm actually, if we did get bigger pullbacks like that in those stocks, look, I think those are going to be the bigger ones to buy. Software, you can take some stabs at it. I personally took a stab at ServiceNow and Salesforce and some other things, but those I'm already trimming, right? And I'm up quite a bit on those. And I think those are the ones where like, we don't know that they're actually done yet.
Iran's parliament speaker
so can I
advisor.
talk to this? There's a guy has a comment, IGV +5, while data centers are -5. I don't think he understands. So I don't think you understand what I mean by data center stocks. I don't mean actual data centers. Like, I don't mean IREN. I'm not talking about IREN. I don't mean NBIS. I mean, and by the way, what are you talking about? But what I'm talking about are companies that serve the data center space as a whole, right? Like I just went through a bunch of stocks. Who are these companies going to be buying? What gear are these companies going to be buying? These companies are going to be buying Arista. These companies are going to be buying for, like your Fastlys, things like that. So Credo, exactly, right? All the way back to 185. Like, come on. Those companies are buying these products. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the full data center stack, not a data center specifically. Not talking about that. Not that those are bad. IREN definitely took a breather, but also up quite a bit. Regardless, though.
Yeah, it's
just to be clear, I'm talking about the stack.
It's data center infrastructure, correct? Yeah. Okay, a couple things from Iran. Iran's parliament speaker advisor says Trump's decision to extend the ceasefire makes no sense. The ceasefire extension is an attempt to buy time for a surprise attack. Iran currently holds the initiative. Iran's position will be announced at a later date. Despite Trump announcing an extension of the ceasefire, Iran has not yet fully expressed its position on the matter through the media. I think at this point, the Iranian news media agencies ultimately want to make it seem like they're in control when at the end of the day, they are going to come back to the table and negotiate. Trump basically just gave an indefinite ceasefire, which to me is pretty bullish because he's basically not threatening to bomb again. He's saying, all right, ceasefire time, however long you need to get us a proposal, we're going to not bomb you until you give us one. So although the Iranian media agencies are trying to paint this as like they're in control, at the end of the day, it hopefully just comes back to a ceasefire. But it looks like there's a lot of infighting within the IRGC and then the Speaker of the Parliament and the President. And maybe that's also why Trump is saying, I can't attack because the guys we're negotiating with are trying to negotiate, but then they're being essentially manipulated or potentially even threatened by the IRGC, so they can't really negotiate with us. And so ultimately attacking doesn't make any sense because you want to get a deal, but the other side has control, which means you're not allowed to make a deal, which means, you know, now we have this indefinite amount of time to wait until things happen. That's our update after hours.
Crazy.
Let's do AMD. Can we start off with AMD today? Because this was a good day for AMD.
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's a beast.
All right,
so
let's start off with AMD. What are you thinking? Because NVIDIA did not have this type of a day.
Well, 227 was always the flip, right? I thought, like we talked about it back down here, that it should have, could have, would have broken down here. When it didn't, that's when it's at least going at 227. Over 227, it's a $300 stock. That's what I've been saying for a while. I'm not going to change that at all. I mean, you're just now breaking through. So 267 is that prior all-time high. All of these retracements are good. You're now in extension territory. So it's like, it's just over 3 for a full extension. The setup though, coming into earnings, this is coming in hot. And so I think a lot of stocks are literally in this exact situation where you're coming in pretty hot. I see an extension to like 310s, give or take. But by that point in time, if you got there on AMD, I think earnings is going to tell a different story. And so technically I can tell you it's on a trajectory into like 305, 315, give or take. It could potentially be up to 345 if it has a really good earnings. That's what this looks like, but that's a guess. I can't say post earnings if the stock market is going to really reward AMD or not for their earnings. But for right now, as long as it's over 267, this is viable. 267 is like the equivalent on SPY retesting just under 700. And so that would actually look like we've broken that prior all-time high. It would look like a break, retest, and continue on just like
is this classic price discovery at an all-time high that's happening here?
I mean, is it classic price discovery? No, like this is just classic technicals. It's this following this pretty well. Actually, it's acting right. It's classic short squeezing. So, you know, anybody that was short sub 200, he has to cover very quickly. And you basically want to get long at 227 over that prior all-time high, which is what we've had for a while. At this point, you're fairly extended, but it doesn't mean that this has to go down. Like if I look at this extension, I'm like, I don't even think we're that overbought. Actually, I see this now. I'm saying the stupid overbought. I mean, we're slightly over. This can stay overbought for a while. Actually, no, this can go higher. This can definitely go higher. Its price is higher than where RSI was over here. So we don't have any divergence at all. From an oscillator perspective, we're good. Believe it or not. Yes, it's overbought technically, but that doesn't matter. You're looking for something called divergence, where if we were more overbought now, we're good. The price is higher, so you can still go higher.
2 headlines. FCC granted ASTS full commercial approval of the planned 248 satellite constellation. That stock up 2%. And then Meta's investing $1 billion in a new data center in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
ASTS, did you buy this dip?
I bought before that dip. I bought a little bit on the dip, but I bought my major position at like 85.
Did you add?
I bought like 200 shares at 78, but I didn't buy
this. Might be this is coming out of support. So like 77 was support, holding 78 or 79. Headlines are not. That's a good spot to hold. So as long as it can hold 77, 79 from here, this actually should go back to where it came from.
Okay, let's do the space names real quick then. ASTS and Rock Lab. I mean, ASTS had a nasty decline, but it looks like the fundamentals helping this one stay above.
Yeah, I took a trade on this a short term, and I bought a little bit of equity, nothing crazy. Tomorrow, like if it holds this general area here, I think, you know, my trade was near term to 90s. And at about halfway, I think that's gonna be fine. Actually, let me take one quick measurement since we have a gap here.
I just like this as a SpaceX FOMO play. I really think this and Rocket Lab get bid up when SpaceX goes public.
Yeah, well, so I like Rocket Lab too from that perspective. I think if it's kind of like which one's at a more attractive price point, trade location is a better, not price point, but trade location. Rocket Lab versus ASTS. It is ASTS here
100%
versus
100%
Rocket Lab.
ASTS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the Rocket Lab is perfectly fine. We wanted to get this to hold through 92. Once that happens, then you're good. But look, you're already up at that near-term resistance. So expect this Rocket Lab to battle just a little bit in this area. But again, I mean, this can even pull into 78 and it's fine. But this one's already had the bounce. Just the terminology trade location. Now you just want this to follow the channel up. From a trade location, ASTS is going to give you a better risk to reward perspective, risk to reward right here, right now.
Okay. And then Rocket Lab, you think it's nicely breaking out to the 90s or?
Oh yeah, 92 to 97 is in play right now still. As long as it holds this general trajectory. So it's in an active reversal, so reversing back to the highs. And for this one, you really just want it to stay in its channel, which again, this can pull back to the 80s and still be perfectly fine, which is kind of what I was showing earlier. But you just don't want it to lose the channel, right? So like 85 is good. It might feel rough, but if it pulled back to like low 80s, high 70s, it's likely still okay as well. But yeah, both of these are on the mend and looking for new highs. A Rocket Lab, I don't think is going to stop at 100. I think this is more like the 120 something story on this guy. 125, 130s.
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, I have not looked at yet. Still 200. We had 205, 206. Didn't quite get there. Yeah, I mean, so NVIDIA is going to be one of the later ones to report. This was that session gap. It's 206.32. I mean, I think that filled. Hopefully it's not one of those where it gets up there on earnings and then doesn't show that during the market. That would count as a fill to me. But yeah, I think we're a little bit tired. Even if we come back down tomorrow, like I said, I think the first dip gets bought. But then we'll have to see if we're actually making new all-time highs. So the next dip that gets bought, for argument's sake, let's say it is tomorrow. The next high, I want to see new all-time highs, like across the board. Like that's really what I'm looking for on all of these. Like specifically SPY, all of that.
Right.
So my point is here, the way that I'm talking about these tickers, if you're normally, or sometimes I might look at something like an NVIDIA and tell you support, what you don't really want to see happen here, I mean, 195, is you don't want to see this next support level. Let's say if NVIDIA is 195, which it is, you don't want to see that get lost. It's not like a buyable dip at 195. It's like you want to wait and still be long. You can still be long, and you're just kind of managing your trade. If it loses 195, it's deeper. So that's why I'm not really like, okay, 165, yeah, that was a better dip, 170, 180s. But 200 to 195, it's not worth pulling the wallet out for, in my opinion.
For the people asking why is NVIDIA lagging, from the 160 to 200 to me is not a lag, right? I mean, yes, there's other names that have outperformed, but it's a $5 trillion company. So I think it's actually done really well since the lows. I know year to date it's not amazing, but
well, I mean, it's It's the same thing. I think it's just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. It is up 25% in like 21 days. So to be fair, there are a lot of other stocks that are up a lot more than that also. And I think if you look around the market at what is moving and why other things are moving, it's a lot of the next chips, right? It's a lot of TPU. It's a lot of, whatever, MRVLs, Astera, like the next chip. And so it's basically, and I'm seeing that across the board, meaning that the main trade goes, i.e., let's call it Dell, right? Dell is a layup that's best of breed. We're going up, right? I mean, everybody can, like, we're going up. We're going higher, all-time highs. We're going up. Dell, best of breed server infrastructure. What am I seeing happening next? Then you start to see Cisco or HPE, right? And that's lagging. But it's like, well, okay, I missed the first one. So let me go down a couple rungs and see what happens. And then I see SMCI come up 50% off the lows. But it's like now I'm digging towards the bottom of the barrel to see what's the catch-up trade. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing at the semi perspective also. Now, at the end of the day, does NVIDIA actually win the whole stack? And like, is TPU like a fruitless effort? Possibly, because, and maybe you should have been long NVIDIA the whole time. I wouldn't necessarily bet against them, but what I am seeing people focus a little bit more on, maybe it's not AMD's GPUs, but maybe AMD's CPU for the edge over Vera at the edge right now, things like that, right? Intel for like fabs, and so on and so forth. ARM for, specific architecture. This is gonna try to break out. It's trying to break out, but we're seeing the market broaden their horizons a little bit and say, okay, NVIDIA is still good. Nobody's selling NVIDIA outright here. I don't see any shorts coming in. But at the same time, it's like, do they want a little extra beta? Because at 4 or 5 trillion, it's a little hard. 4.86 trillion. It's a little hard to get the stock to move.
Right. Robinhood, what do you think? What are we thinking?
Hoodie. So not in the data center stack. It's not like prime focus for me, but I think 65 this is one where I would be super patient. If we get dips from here, sub 80, I think it's probably still viable. I think that we see 100, like for sure. If I say for sure, people are going to hold me to that, huh?
You have to say for maybe now.
For maybe $98.87 for likely, for very likely $98.87.
Dude, but see, okay.
You got to undercut
IBKR just had a relatively type of earnings. I think Hood's gonna have the same type of earnings, but bull market, S&P highs, crypto going up, tech going up. That is what really hopefully takes it above to that level.
Unfortunately, it is. I don't like the fact that it is. I'm just telling you, if Robinhood, if Robinhood can get their together, Vladdy, if you're listening, I have a request. It's a product request. I would love nothing more to see perpetual futures listed on U.S. equities. Different than options. I think it's going to be a game changer. Vladdy, that is my request. But if we see something like that, that's going to be a huge deal. But, Hood has not been releasing as fast as they have been before. And I think, if crypto does get the bounce, which I do think crypto can have a bounce, it's just choppy right now, or it should have a bounce. Robinhood at least gets close to 100. I wouldn't round it out at a clean 100. But from there, we'll have to see. About just over 100. At just over 100, we're really just retesting this downtrend right here. So to be completely fair, we can actually go all the way back up to 100, even slightly higher, and still be in a downtrend. But we're coming up to retest this prior broken support around 100. And I think that's at least a given. Now, does that mean it has to go straight up? No, I'd rather it not. I'd rather it do a little bit of chop sideways, whatever, like this, to give some other people some time to get back in. This is what I mean. That's literally 80 right here. And And if it does that, I'd be perfectly happy with this. If it doesn't, I'm also okay with that as well. And then after earnings, we'll have to see. Because again, yeah, I think March Madness will be good. There's a lot of stuff happening for Robinhood, but this is not one I'm like expecting to go up to 160 in the next couple months.
SOFI.
Well, we charted this and said up to 20. Yeah, in very short order before the next time, at least the next time I saw you.
I think we got there Friday. So
yeah, that's exactly what we did. I said a couple sessions. Yeah, that's literally that. So I think that's on par. This is just, you know, this is what I mean by, okay, we've had a big push, but after this, do I expect it to go higher from here? Something like SOFI, no, it's done going up right this second for this, what we call wave, right? Or like this impulse. This impulse is done. So now you have to expect some kind of, it doesn't have to be a pullback. It could go sideways, but something, it just needs to breathe for a little bit. And so while it's taking this breather, even if you went sideways like that, then whatever, right? Something like this. It doesn't even have to be, it's going to take a breather. That's fine. A breather can be like 5 days. It could be 4 days, but you're going to have earnings at, again, Wednesday, April 29th is a massive earnings day. I don't know if that's real or not. That's at least what TradingView says. But yeah, this is that first push through from a trading perspective is complete. Now you wait for the next trade setup. Now it can either go sideways or it can break structure to the downside. It's not actually breaking structure downside here yet.
Okay. Tesla, which went up to 415, 410.
Not quite. It was really close. I mean, I thought it would at least get me to the 415. It got to 409. So amazing bounce right here. Counter trend bounce still. So it's 415. Everybody should know that the line in the sand is 415. Like Tesla, and this is what I mean by we've actually, and I'm just going to clean this up just a little bit. Tesla can come back down to test its 20-day, literally at like 370 and be a long. But this is what I'm talking about. Like right now, cool. These trades coming into something like earnings here, which is tomorrow. You get this run up that's very fast and fairly aggressive. Like, what is that? 1, 2, the 3rd day extension, 5th day, you're kind of topping out. You get a lower high here, 2nd day lower. Tesla, I mean, we'll have to see through earnings, but if it can hold 360, I'll give it to you. He wants to know. Fine, dude. That's what I thought it was. 362.
By the way, guys, real quick, we are just doing a lot of the major tickers. We will take audience requests. Just give us 30 minutes. Let's get through the big names, and then we're going to get to all the smaller names as well.
So 362 would be like a classic pullback. And then if I see a little consolidation from there, then that's what I would like to see. So this arrow is what we call like pathing. That's the best case scenario.
Oh, Tesla's earnings tomorrow.
That's my point. Yeah.
Oh.
I do not want to see it below holding after earnings below 360. If it's below 360, yeah, we're back. It's not going to be fun. We could see 300s. We can see 320s.
I gotta do a pump or dump in the chat on Jason. What does your gut tell you, or what do the charts tell you tomorrow?
I mean, it depends on, like, I could see it pull back to 365, and then the following week I want to see it recover.
Okay.
That's otherwise in my mind, there's 2 scenarios. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is we pop up to like 420, 415, doesn't extend at all, and then immediately following day 365. So either way, 365.
Okay. Palantir.
Palantir stuck. So again, so big run, big rest, second run down. We're actually still in the rest phase. it has not gotten back over that resistance here at about 155s. 165 is the real resistance, but the structure is not good on Palantir. I'll just say this. It can bounce, but on this next push, like you got to see, you really want to see over 165 or at least 165. If it stops like 158, I'll tell it to you. Oh, if it stops 155, from a price perspective, that would actually be a short spot to go lower. That's what it would be. Technically, I'm trying to be nice. Technically, we have 1, 2 lower lows, lower highs. Trend count is not great here. It's at least at best in a holding pattern. It can go higher, but it's lagging. That's for sure. It is lagging. I can say that pretty cleanly. If it can catch up, what we know is true is like, again, here, 160. I want to see 165. It's over 165. Cool. It's all good. We're going back to the 2s plus. And if not, we're still a bit of a struggle bus while it kind of like bases out. And at least maybe some new investors come in if they want this. The question is, right now, you look across the market, it's like, is it Palantir? Is it Robinhood? Or is it something else? And my gut's kind of telling me like, for a lot of people, it might be something else.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can say that for my hoodie too, right?
Yeah. And yes, Trump is live. He's talking to the NCAA champions. So I don't think there's too much market stuff, but if he says anything about the market, then we'll talk about it. Nebius.
Little exhaustion today. Hit an extension right here. So actually, is it there? We'll do this. I had an extension there. Very close to 170s is an extension level. I think these you really simple, like take these more recent lows, like 3 or 4 day low, right? So I just go to a daily and you have this little bit of a cluster right here of candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. I'm going to say below 158s. If it's not closing over 158s, which we're basically fighting on that, then we should see a pullback into the 130s. Otherwise, if we can hold that, it's just in a holding pattern. So this is like a breather for something like Nebius. You're still on track to the like 180s, just high 170s. And then I actually would expect, even if this does happen to go like this, I'd still see a little bit of a consolidation. Again, earnings end of the month. April 29th is going to be like I didn't reset the timer. One of the biggest earnings days like I've seen in a very long time, man.
Dude, it's SOFI in the morning, Fed meeting in the evening, and then all 4 Mag 7s.
I'm just telling you, from an index perspective, usually that setup means at least sideways to slightly lower. Usually, just because there's so much rotation going on. But your specific stocks, we'll have to see. I'm going to be pretty interested to see so what I think is going to be important as we watch earnings are like, do the winners get rewarded more than the losers get punished? Or do the losers get punished more than the winners get rewarded? And that trend across the board is probably going to be another tell.
Agreed. I agree. Let's just do the other two real quick. IREN and CRWV. IREN, for some reason, got hit hard today.
IREN, I had options on this too. I kept rolling. And I finally my roll's not going to, might not continue, maybe. Although I had a 50 roll, so we're basically there also. IREN, big move off of 30. We're up a lot. I mean, you're up a lot on the buy, I think, depending on where you got 62%. Do I need 5 minutes still? I could probably go down.
Yeah, let's go to like 130. We can start moving. All right, so I think those are the main tickers. We can.
We can do a little bit. Well, I could do 3. So like $50 is the next hurdle to get through. This drawdown, it could actually retest about like the low 40s, and be a bit of just a basic pullback here. But again, it's a place to watch. This name specifically, very much momentum driven. This is starting to look like Rocket Lab before Rocket Lab took off, where you get these little liquidity grabs down here in the low 30s, in the lower 30s. And this one, 1, 2, 3, whatever. You want to see this hold kind of like that center line, which is about 42 to 44. So I'd say that level is going to be fairly important.
And then CoreWeave.
Was there news on CoreWeave?
There was a rumor that NVIDIA is buying them out, but I think that rumor makes no sense. So I don't think so.
May 7th earnings, buying them out. Well, anyways, 111 is the level to hold now, and then you should be on track to 126 or more. Actually, let me double check this. Nope, hold on, that's a different thing. Let me get this one. Oh, it's actually the same. So 111 would be the level to hold, and we're still on track to 126.5. If we can get through 126s, then that's 145. Just that little blip on the chart is about 145. That is what it would be. If this pulls back, it's like just under 100 again. Very high beta stock. If it pulls back post earnings, I would still look for this area, low 90s to mid 80s to act as support. Maybe get another shot. CoreWeave, I think, is super interesting. NBIS, I think, is the one to like not really trade around that much, like own, maybe sell a bunch of covered calls. IREN, Cypher, Wolf, whatever, super low on the totem pole for me. That's just me. But these guys will probably be the ones that go first. Everybody else ends up following.
Okay, let's get into some other sectors, and we will keep going from there. We'll try to get to as many names as possible. Memory names. Are you buying the dip on Micron?
No. I mean, I think you can if you like it. I just think, I think that there's lots of other. So Micron looks like a failed breakdown so far. And what I would say is, as long as these names, like when you finally come to terms with it, that it's up 600 something % for the year or whatever it is. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that supply for these guys, like their stock is not really getting overloaded. So like if they're not building supply when they report, which is not going to be for a while, and they're still constantly selling it out, it's going to go up. And that, because that means that they still have pricing power. But it's when they're not holding like a surplus of inventory. When they don't have a surplus of inventory, it's all good. Stocks will go up. When they have a surplus of inventory, that's when the stocks will start to go down. I don't see any reason why that's going to happen right now, at least not with what's coming from an earnings perspective. Again, why I can look across the market and be like, dude, where's the dip? It's gone, right? And we look at this stuff, and then you think about who's going to report. Honestly, think about this. Tesla's Terafab, dude, that's one of the biggest builds out there. And I mean, that's giant, right? We talk about Credo's cool, that's AWS, but Amphenol is going to be Terafab. SMCI and Dell are also going to be Terafab. All your cooling solutions, all going to be Terafab. When Elon comes out and starts I'm not trying to be super bullish either. Like I'm trying to actually pump the brakes a little bit. But when we hear these kind of things, it's not even about Tesla, the stock itself. It's like, what are these companies going to be spending on? Like, and by the way, when I think about it, like, is $200 barrel in oil even going to change that story? Well, guess what? It's not. right? Like $150 barrel in oil is not going to stop Tesla and Elon from spending however many trillions of dollars on his new data centers, or AWS, or Azure, or GCP, for that matter. It's just, so when you think about what are they going to be spending money on, it's not even Nebius or IREN or Wolf or whatever. It's the components like a Micron. So I'm not too worried about this as long as they're not building a surplus of inventory. You're probably okay.
Amazon, which is putting 25 billion into Anthropic.
Taking a play out of the NVIDIA playbook, huh?
Basically.
I mean,
by the way, real quick before we continue, Iran's Tansim continuation of a naval blockade amounts to continued hostility. Iran will not reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and if necessary, it will break the blockade by force. See, this is where you have to take what they're saying with a grain of salt. They're not going to break the blockade by force, because if they do, they're going to get shot down pretty hard. So right now, they're just saying stuff. Khamenei is expected to give his response on Wednesday. The Israeli source said the Iranian negotiator said they are waiting for a green light from the supreme leader, as per Axios. My theory is that the IRGC is telling the Ayatollah to stop negotiating. The parliament and the president is telling the Ayatollah to let us negotiate so we could get sanctions relief, open the strait, yada, yada. And right now it's up to him to figure out what side he wants to go with. And hopefully we find out by tomorrow. Amazon.
Well, she's working out. I think your active short squeeze is done on Amazon. And now as it goes sideways and takes a little bit of a breather, you want to see new buyers step in, ideally around the mid to high 240 levels. So that's going to be your support. That's that prior all-time high, which is 240-250. It's not like a hard line in the sand. It's a general area, which is why I say mid to low 240 area. And if it can hold that, then yeah, we have earnings coming at the end of April. Like I said, the pre-earnings run up has mostly held, or mostly happened, sorry. And now we typically see a little bit of profit taking on some like traders, from some traders. And then we want to see these kind of base out near the prior resistance levels. And that prior resistance level is the low 240s on Amazon. So if that can become support moving forward, that's all we need to know. From a extension perspective, this actually mutes a little bit of the next press to the upside slightly, but it's still cleanly 300 from a technical perspective.
So you still like Amazon here?
Yeah, I still like Amazon. I like Amazon over Google.
Yeah, me too.
Also.
Me too. SanDisk, you see the same story as Micron on this one?
Joe, that's clearly the same story as Micron, except stronger. So maybe because SanDisk is more storage than memory, I don't know. But yeah, this is, if I go through the tickers, SanDisk, Western Dig, Seagate, or SK Hynix, whatever, they're all probably going to look about the same. So again, yeah, pre-earnings run up has happened. If this can hold 895, which is exactly where it closed, then your next break can be over 1,000. Your next spot is a clean $1,000 bill, right? And then potentially 12s, because it's, once it cracked through 700, we kind of knew where it was going, which is 12. If you didn't catch that, but 7 to 12. That's typical trajectory. You really don't want to see it have a large retracement. It can, but by that time we'll have earnings, so that's going to be a different story towards the end of the month. But I mean, yeah, 770s is like the next level of support. All we want to do on SanDisk is make sure that this continues on its merry way. Right now, this is exactly how you relieve an overbought condition, is not necessarily by going down, but simply by going sideways. That right here, healthiest.
UNH.
Yeah, so this is on the mend. I mean, we're all the way back. Oops. we're coming out. Holy, what chart did I have on here? Oh my goodness. So I had shorts, played, done, recover. You're at the top of the box. So, but you're on the mend. I think 350 is a spot. If this holds, yeah, in the like high threes, like low 300s, like 310, over 310, 320s, anything, dude, this is fine. Go ahead. Like, doesn't matter. I don't think if you, first of all, I think on UNH here now, if you're too explicit first, I don't think this is a trading stock. So that's not going to be what you'll get from me. I think this more of like, the question is it done going down? I think it's done going down for now. It's coming out of its uptrend or downtrend, and you're about to break structure to the upside, which is in the 4s. But that time horizon to get there with it, like 475s, is like years. So if you want to do leaps, this is one where I would bless a leap on. Just from an IV perspective on pullbacks, I think you're fine.
Pakistani PM just tweeted, on my personal behalf and behalf of the field marshal, I sincerely thank President Trump for graciously accepting a request to extend the ceasefire to allow ongoing diplomatic efforts. With the trust and confidence reposed in Pakistan shall continue its earnest efforts for negotiated settlement of conflict. I sincerely hope that both sides will continue to observe the ceasefire and be able to conclude a comprehensive peace deal during the second round of talks scheduled at Islamabad for a permanent end to the conflict. Second headline real quick, SpaceX just put out a filing and they are putting a risk factor saying their plans for orbital AI data centers, moons, and Mars infrastructure involve unproven technology and may not be commercially viable.
I thought we knew that.
Well, they legally have to let everybody know that if this shit doesn't work, don't blame us if you bought it at $2 trillion. So there you go.
Oh yeah, space data centers isn't. We haven't solved that. They don't know that it's going to work yet. Anyways, UNH 320s, 330s on a pullback. As long as it's holding that, you are bearish to bullish reversal in the making. Up
Microsoft
470s. Very long time horizon. Microsoft looks good. Dude, super strong intraday compared to, like, I'm watching Microsoft. It's not making new highs. It's technically a lower high. So this is a spot to be cautious. Big move off the lows from Microsoft. This is like it's kind of in a Robin Hood type spot where it's like, look, this is not the spot. This is not the ticker that the market knows is going to be like time to rally on. But from a long-term perspective, to me, yeah, I'm all about Microsoft. So 415 is going to be important to hold. That's gonna remain. So 415 is this prior. It's a range around this area, 415 down to 400s, give or take. You just don't want to see it losing like 405 with strength. I mean, you can, it's fine. It's just, all that means is another dip's going to happen for you, and you probably see it back there, maybe even lower than before. But long term, I have no problem with this at all. You got a little bit of a break of the downtrend, so that's good news. Right now, it's a very steep downtrend. It's kind of obvious. Double top is played out, so I'm not worried about that. This, if it can continue through 425, should see about 460 for this current trajectory here. Potentially 480.
PayPal, which is making a little bit of a comeback here. We haven't looked at it in a couple weeks. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
months, to be honest.
I tell you what, this market, the last 3 weeks, you slap 2 to 3 letters together, just slap a couple alphabetical symbols together, you'll look like a genius. I swear to God. You could be a professional trader. Like, it doesn't matter.
I need to take the CRN ticker on the NASDAQ. I need to secure it for one day.
Right.
Yeah, no, everything's going up. FinTech's making a rebound.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like between the data center build out trade, continuing to have massive legs. I mean, raging bull market, and the potential short squeezes that are still playing out, actively playing out. Yeah, it's going to be really hard, at least for the month, for SPY to like completely, get decimated. And even if it does, it doesn't mean that some of these names are necessarily going to go down. But again, PayPal off the lows, huge bounce. I think you can start to see like 35% off the lows. This needs to hold 50. If you're not holding 50, you're coming back in a little bit. But a little bit is to like that is not even going to matter. 48. You're very long ways away from thinking that this is out of the weeds. It's not even close to out of the weeds. It's literally just a short squeeze pop to fill a gap, exactly at $52.32. And that's also exactly where it stopped. So last earnings February, gap down from $52.32. That is the exact top of today. Coincidence? Possibly not. Not bullish. Is what it is. You need to see this over 50, like well over that area. Actually, really, I'd want to see it over. I'd want to see it over 60 holding, quite frankly. But yeah, it's making its way at least up, hopefully into 60s. But it's got to get over that 52 and change first. All right.
For those that are asking for the Jason webinar link, I'm putting it again in the chat. If it's not working, just try a different browser.
Yeah, just reset it. It's working. I know because we have a few hundred people already registered, and he'll put it in the description, guys. So we'll be able to get to it. You'll be fine.
Okay, I'll be right back. But Meta, I'll be back in like 1 minute.
Oh, Meta 690 is the top of. So this is exactly it. So the large cap, and this is what I am seeing. Large cap stocks across the board are mostly kind of topping. They're very toppy right now. But underneath, we're still seeing the data center build out, right? We're still seeing a lot of short squeezes potentially in play. The large caps can pull back and maybe go sideways. They don't even have to pull back, but potentially come down a little bit to sideways. That'll bring the index level, bring it down slightly. But, and Meta is definitely one that I would be talking about in this regard. So 690 spot 80 was the upside target from, let me pull this. One of these, actually, it's an older one I had from an earnings breakdown. But let me just grab you this from this top to the actual low. Yeah, it's actually giving me the exact same number. So double confluence from the, this is from 795 highs to 520 lows. That is smack dab in the middle of the bear zone. So here, that's the highest peak of the bear zone. From here, I think 657s. Yeah, mid 650s. You'd want to see that hold. I think that's pretty for sure. I'd say for sure that you should see that. It's not a big deal, but if that can hold in between 657 to 635, that's going to be your actual support. So you're a little bit ways off of support. If this holds 635, it's nice. That's the most constructive piece here. And you're kind of building a bit of a squeeze later, but not right now. Like this has made a big move. So you'd want to see this kind of act a bit like this, which means support below 657 down to 635. But if price is coming out of that range, that's going to create another little cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders, whatever, literally just like this white arrow on my screen. And that should kind of like push you like right back into that 699, 690 type area. If that happens, it's likely to 730s. You get past 730, we're back to 1200. Well, I don't know that we're out of talking about 1200 on Meta, but it'd be 1200 if it really extends below through 720s.
Yeah, I mean, it touched 750 3 times now in the past year, and it stayed there for a couple weeks before it fell. So I feel like they crush earnings.
This next time, and so I think without even looking at a chart, you just think about this is what the stock did before. This next time on this next approach, cool. We stopped at 690. I don't want to see it stop at 690 because it did that. We know we're at least going to go sideways to down for a little bit. But the next approach to the 700s, I want to see it blow through that, right? Like you want to see it just like take them all out and just like rip back through 750, 760, 800, and then we're on our merry way to 12s. But until then, I think going sideways for a while in this area is somewhat constructive. And well, I don't think that's what price is constructive here, but viable on dips, like I said, below 6.7, I'd say below 660 down to 635.
Let's do Celsius. People are concerned about that today.
Well, I think I said if I'm not going to buy it again, but like I could see 25s from a price action perspective. Undervalued, overvalued, I have no idea. But what I do know is that this is not in the right space. Like it's not the right theme. It's a thematic market. It always has been, always will be, forever and always. It's just not. I'm not going to get caught up trying to chase a Celsius and snipe a low when I have 100 other stocks that are just ripping to the upside. That's an opportunity cost, right? So Celsius will tell us when it's ready. It's not telling us it's ready right now. Honestly, if I'm buying it at $20, $25, or $50, I don't know that it's going to matter that much if you're investing, that is. But from a trade perspective, it's in the wrong space in the market. Don't waste your time on it. That's just my opinion, unless you want to short it. That's fine. This could be a little bit of liquidity grab. Very near term, what I'd say is the recent lows are 33. And so it's at 32, looks like 32.30 was the lows today. So I just said 33 was 33.65 actually, is that prior support that is quote unquote breached today. If by tomorrow or sometime between now and next week, it's back over 33.65. Is that 33? Yeah, back over 33.65. Then in fact, today is what we call a liquidity grab. And then in fact, it actually is long, but that's exactly what I have to see. If I don't see that, this is currently going down, but it's a wait. I just told you exactly what to watch for. And if that is the case, then you're expecting a bounce potentially into the high 30s, low, like just below 40, like 39s. But that's it. Okay. Is that a good walkthrough, guys? I hope that's okay.
No, I think the biggest point about this is, and it's just so true. It's something we always have to come to grips with. You might love a stock, but it just might not be not only the time for the stock to, it's not in the right thematic. The thematic right now is tech and AI. Celsius just,
it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal to understand relative strength. You don't even know, you don't even have to know that the thematic is whatever it is, right? Today it's AI, data center build out, generational build out. Tomorrow it could be space. The day after that it could be, I don't know, pharma patent cliffs, right? Like you have no idea. But if you understand relative strength, it will tell you the thematic by default. Like when you know what's relatively strong, then you know what the theme is.
Agreed. Oracle.
I mean, I think you caught a flyer here. So off the lows, 200-week SMAs, like 138s. I wanted 115s. I didn't get it. That's okay. Beggars can't be choosers, right? I think you got the one. What did you get? 140s, 150s?
137.
137. Wow.
The low was 134, dude. I wish I had just bought everything I could that day of Oracle because it was basically bottom.
All right. Well,
but then I bought more at 175 though. So
if that was options, I would tell you to be trimming. Take profit, scale.
Unfortunately, it was not options.
If it's equity, you know, you're up nice. I don't know that I would trim equity actually. And I would probably just let this ride, dude. Like it is 40%. Maybe you take at a 50% gain on equity. I'm more inclined to take like 20% down of my position. and potentially reload. But until I have a break here, like unless it's, as long as it's over 170, I think you're okay. And this should be on its way to 215. At that point, I would definitely take a little bit off the table. Again, size matters. If you only bought one share, you can't really trim. So there's that. And you got earnings coming in the middle of June, supposedly. So I think it's a good flyer for sure.
Someone says on Oracle, thanks for the super chat, I bought 250 Jan 2028 leaps at the lows at 138. They're up 115%, planning to keep for long. I have a few like this in dips. I've been focused on 2028 leaps. Would you, well, you kind of just answered it.
So come to the webinar, and we solved this exact issue quite a bit, because the setup in trading, we look for these things called setups. The setup from a time perspective, we always get this pre-earnings run up. And I think if you have things like that, like great, you got a really good snipe, if you will. And like you said, can you put that comment up again? So I can read it. 250 is like, at 130 might feel a little bit aggressive, but those are $3,500 now. In the last, here's what I'll say. Like, I can go back and I can pull this. He probably bought them at like $1,300 and they're $3,600 now. So if you're on a triple, okay, he says about 115%. Also join the group. We'll teach you execution. But when you get a double, usually what I'm trying to do at that point is remove risk. And I will typically take my principal out, meaning like if I bought 10 and they've doubled, then I can take 5 out and I have the whole trade on still, but I want to manage my position size. At the end of the day, it's like I put in a certain amount of money and and that was a certain percentage of my account. I don't want to get that win, or I don't want to let that win go completely out of control where it's like 20, 30, 40, 50% of my account. I don't want to do that. That's irresponsible. So we've got to just manage the position size, knowing that, hey, look, you got a nice flyer here. It's possible. I'm not saying close the whole thing at all. At 250, if you want to start turning this into a poor man's covered call, that's what we'll start to look at on the earnings webinar. But I'll leave it at that, literally right there, and just say, look into turning that into a poor man's cover call, and leverage those leaps to generate some additional income generation for you. All right.
Reddit. Thanks,
Amit, for splitting the. Amit said he's splitting the super chats now too for Technical Tuesdays because we're doing all the. I kid.
This guy didn't even let me buy him dinner in San Jose.
No. So Reddit's an active squeeze today. I'm like, whoo. Today was as low as I would want it to go. Literally 155. It hit my 169. We're at 169. I know. Okay, if it's over that, which is right here, 66. And there's a couple, you probably can't see them on my chart, but we do use the wicks, if you will, because price traded there. This white line it's 169.50. If this is over 169.50, it's for sure going to 179. For now, it hit that and it was like a brick wall this morning. And it pulls back like $15 or something, like a ugh. But it's possibly an entry spot if you're not in it, because as this is still starting to fire, we still have earnings to look forward to. I can look at Reddit fundamentally. You know what? Let me see on my lane. As long as it's over 150, the squeeze is still on. And then you just have to ask yourself, is the market going to think that $160, $100 barrel in oil is going to affect Reddit's company? I don't know. I don't think so, but not likely. Anyways, this 155, literally draw it across, just put a straight horizontal line on that chart. It's a pretty important inflection spot.
Yeah, I like this going to earnings. I actually think they're going to put up some really good numbers. And I mean, this thing chilled out at 230 for 4 or 5 months. It was almost at 300 at one point. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it gets back to at least 180.
To me, this is squeezy. It's 180s in the cards. Like, as long as like it's on trajectory to be there. And it's just a matter of, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, we've just come pretty far off the lows. To see a little bit of pullback across the board and consolidation is par for the course, is actually healthy if other investors actually come in and start buying these things up. But yeah, this 180 is like like minimums on a retracement, bearish retracement. If closer to 200 is more realistic. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it hung out at 200 for a while.
Right. Fastly.
Dude, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm up a lot on options though. So like, again, I did take, I think I took MEEPs. Let me pull my, what did I do? Did I do MEEPs or leaps? Can my chat tell me, did I do MEEPs or leaps on Fastly? I got a gang of equity. I kind of oversized. I'm on MEEPs, which are mini leaps, by the way.
By the way, real quick, if people can't make the webinar, it's not recorded, right?
Just log in. As long as you log in, I think it will auto save a recording so that you can watch it later.
Okay, so if you can't make it, just log in during the time.
Log in, you don't have to watch it actively. So Fastly, so 25 is important. That's like this IPO high from initial, like IPO open high 2556. I like, there's a lot of story on Fastly. It's also this top right here from 2024. It's kind of what we exploded through just recently on the new products and launches in CEO. Today's low, or like yesterday's high was exactly that level, 2567. And the day before that, Friday, that's kind of where it had that little like spike higher, but sold into. Today, closing above that, I think any short started to cover is what I'm seeing on Fastly. I'm up a lot on my options. So like, so I need to right size, but this is here where it's like, if it holds that 2560, call it 2550 area, you can see the breakdown over here. It's very important, right? So like this was resistance here, support, resistance. If this comes in and kind of consolidates that way, it's $30. My initial target here would be more like 40s, like mid 40s. Actually, let me get this clean. If I did actually snipe the lows, I don't know if I sniped the lows or not. That's also 45s, just in between 45s. And yeah, I like the story here a lot. I think I caught a good dip. I just want to protect my principal. That's the job of a trader. But from an investing perspective, I guess there's two different questions, right? I'd be happy to, I was happy to load sub 20 last time we talked about it. If it got to 17, it didn't. I bought this day and this day. Yeah. And now I'm just kind of like managing the position.
Yeah, honestly, I bought this because of the chart as well. It's a trade for me, but I think there is a fundamental thesis. I don't think it's enough to hold on for many years, but I think if they have a good earnings and these AI infrastructure plays keep doing well, it's not crazy to see 35 again on this, which is
yeah, it is the edge. And if you listen to Jensen, the edge is next anyways. All right.
Lily, which had some Amazon news today that took it down.
I mean, I think this is okay. It's not biotech's time. The setup actually looks not bad, dude. It's just more in like a, okay. So technically 878.60 is exactly a 50%. Let me make sure exact here. Is a 50%, 878.90. Call it 880 is about a 50% retracement from the 2025 lows to the 2026 highs. So of 620 to 1135. This is still on track to 12s. If it loses 880, I would expect 800 roughly to be your next support level. And I mean, that's exactly what it is. For now, this is an okay dip. All I see on the chart is that it's not going to go down right here, right now anymore. It's at least going to go sideways. I don't see a big reason to go long aside from earnings on April 30th. So the pullback, the drawdown, as I think happened, and maybe you start to see some anticipation ahead of earnings, but I don't know. If that does happen, that takes you to just under 1,985. I think it's done going down for right now, though, as long as it's over 880. Next.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Hims.
Himothy. Amazon released some new product or something. Didn't take her out.
It did for like 5 minutes, and she recovered.
Yeah. So 28, I think, is very tight stop if you want to trade it that way. On HIMS, I think you could use that. Basically, this prior high of about $28. If you're trading right here. Yeah, this is exactly 28. Looks like that was exactly today's low also. And it held. So yeah, what I will say is that this initially from here, from the lows of 13 to 27, we had outlined just low 19s, high 18s as support. Once you're coming out of that, which is over 21, you're good. Now you can kind of go through and say, what is your next extension? Which I'm guessing, yep, is going to be 34s, mid 30s, mid to high 30s is your next move from here, as long as you can hold 28.
Okay. We got two headlines. Anthropic's Mythos model accessed by unauthorized users. Anthropic is investigating that report. And then Besant just tweeted that the blockade is still in effect, and we will continue to apply the blockade until the Iranians essentially negotiate. He also said in a matter of days, the Karg Island storage will be full and the fragile Iranian oil wells will be shut in. Constraining Iran's maritime trade directly targets the regime's primary revenue lifelines. I think let's do some of the software names that actually had some recovery today. ServiceNow, I think, was the most impressive.
Oh, dude, speaking of investigating unauthorized users, has anybody in the chat like seen this pop up on Netflix where they're like, is this part of your household pop up? Dude, are they finally doing that? Like, are they finally doing that?
I think they started a year ago, but people have found a way to get
this flavor, these flavors. You can't see it. It's oh, that's not dead billionaire. What's that about? Dead billionaire.
Are you in the AOC camp? Eat the rich? Is that what you're,
no.
what you're doing now? Aren't you a billionaire? How are you drinking that?
It says dead billionaire on the can.
What flavor is
it? It's Arnold Palmer, dude. Iced tea and lemonade.
But that's not alcohol, right?
No.
No, because
No.
That brand is water, though, right?
Huh?
Liquid Death is water.
Oh. Well, no, they do.
But it's flavored water.
This is iced tea and lemonade.
Okay, so it's not.
I restocked the fridge. I got a bunch of random stuff. Half of this stuff, because I'm trying to find something I like that's not like gonna kill me. Half of the stuff I don't like at all. So, anyways, so ServiceNow. I think I might have sniped this one, or I didn't snipe. I got 88, so I didn't get the low. I got 88s. And I took a shot. So this is where like you could get a short squeeze, but look, tomorrow they have earnings. This is in the SaaS apocalypse. this is the one that's going to tell you, first and foremost, tomorrow, dude, I'll just say this. If ServiceNow does okay, or like if the stock goes up on ServiceNow Thursday,
Software is going up.
yeah. So you want to watch this. If you're, okay, I'll just give you this one. Do you know what SAP is? Or, let me, so this is the 140 just gets you to the 200-week simple moving average. That's what I would say. If you already bought leaps on something like a ServiceNow or any type of trades on something like that, it's prudence. What we as traders would typically do is you don't gamble on earnings, but you're already up a solid 50% from the lows. Take the principal out, and if you want to let it ride, and then maybe you could go back into it later. But it's a gamble to hold through earnings. Fundamentally, if it's equity, it's a different story. I'm talking about options. But yeah, 140 is the upside resistance here, near term. But there's another one that has not gone yet, really, and I was going to ask you if you know about SAP.
I mean, I know about them. If you ask me to tell me what they do, no, I don't know what they do.
Okay.
Can you explain what they do? I don't know what ServiceNow does either, but.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's the data lake essentially, in simplest terms, but which is what all the software companies really are. Dude, AI is not taking SAP out, I don't think. It's a huge. You thought Oracle was good, like large, like legacy. SAP is equally large. Anyways, 150. So it down. If it holds 150 to like, if this is over 160, you're gonna get a bounce in the 180s. But this is a perfect technical retracement right here, right now. So like perfect from 2022 $70 lows to 2025 $285 highs. This also has earnings, so to take it now would be more of a gamble. But this would be the one that follows immediately after ServiceNow, because ServiceNow is tomorrow, SAP is the day after tomorrow. Not many people think about this name, but it would be a pair. We call this a pairs trade. Does that make sense? Pairs trade. They're very, very similar.
Salesforce, which Adobe took a page out of Benioff's playbook today.
I mean, yeah, but like, so somebody asked me about that in our group. I was like, do you follow like insider buys? And I was like, hard no, right? Like hard no. Like you make your own decisions. Don't follow anybody. Be your own trader. But I mean, it didn't work out on Trade Desk right away. That didn't work out on, dude. Anyways, make your own decisions. Don't let those influence you. A lot of times people are like, the executives are horrible traders. Pretty sure Zuckerberg has like one of the worst track records on buying his own stock, actually. And they do it for a lot of different reasons. It's not necessarily the same reason that a retail investor would do it. But 185 was important to get back over. So that was that last breakdown on CRM. All this area, we broke down, right? And now that you're over it, that is the question, do you get back up through? So the first stop is going to be 195, just about. I think you're on track for that. You're also generating a squeeze play right now on CRM. This one does not have earnings till early June. But I'm being very like modest on targets here, 195, right? Because these could be like UNH, where they take a year to go sideways, but eventually end up being like, yeah, amazing buys. But if you're expecting them to run right here, right now, I don't know that that's actually going to happen. It's possible because they are set up for short squeezes. Like these are definitely set up for short squeezes. But it's a good time to trim a little profit if you actually got the lows. Trim a little principal. Let some profit ride, and see how it plays out. I don't hate these. Big pop would be up to 230. That is that prior resistance.
Same thing for Adobe, you would say, I imagine.
Adobe.
Again, the buybacks couldn't pump it. Jensen couldn't pump it yesterday. It's kind of
not the same thing for Adobe. Wow.
Yeah, this one struggled.
So yeah, so this is not 260 is it's not even over 260. So it literally that after hours this pop for whatever reason. Or is this the one that did buybacks? So ouch. Yeah, so this one, that 250 to 260 is actually overhead resistance. If it's over that, it's going up to like 280s, and I think that's tradable. Earnings here isn't for a little while. I think you watch this tomorrow. We don't know when they bought or why they bought or any of that kind of stuff. But it's in a general support range. It's 245. It's stuck, dude. It's gonna try, but you don't want to see this get below. Oh man, I got to get a microscope out for this bad boy. 245. If you're in this, I think you hang tight. But and if you're not, and you see this holding 245, I think you can take a very calculated risk here with a stop below 225. So long around 245 with a stop below 225. I think that's a clean risk reward with a target of 280, potentially up to 320s. Yeah, I don't hate that. From a trading perspective, trade location. It's not going up right now though. So it would be what's it called when you're going against the grain? Like contrarian. It would be very contrarian.
Which usually ends up being a good investment if it.
I mean, it doesn't.
I mean, if the company executes, right?
Let me be real with you. It does not usually end up being a good investment.
No, so, okay. So the argument that yes, to your point, usually when you're wrong, when everyone hates something, it's because there's a reason, and they tend, the stock tends to suck. So you have to find something special that everyone hates that you're right about to make like an asymmetric gain.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what dude. Let's do this. No, I can't even. Like, this is the big double top. This might have a lot to go. Like, technically speaking, I'm just gonna hold. I'm gonna hold the line and say, oh, like, look, 260 is resistance. If it's over 260, though, I mean, you're for sure. If you want to wait for it to be in the clear. If you're over 275, I would be way more comfortable holding 275, maybe even 280. Because like, what are you missing? If it's over 280, even like, okay, cool. We have a nice trade on our hand. Like really to like 350s and then some, but relatively weak still. I mean, watch it. We can watch it. I think it's time to put it on a watch, but that's it. That's all I can say.
Do you have any thoughts on CAR?
On Poet?
No, CAR.
Oh, it's a short space.
Yeah, but so would you short it here or?
Oh, I did short it actually. Like super cheap stuff. So like very short term, super cheap, and I actually got in a little bit, and they went up and then they went down, but they're not even really down. Volatility on this is you're in a short squeeze mode. So even if you bought puts, here's so I would not short the stock itself. I would not sell calls unless I'm selling like leaps. Are there $1,000 leaps? I don't even think they go that high. But if you see it like in an active move, like today, if it's below, what I would say is that if it's below sevens, then 275 is very much in the cards very quickly, believe it or not. 350 also very, very much in the cards. If it's over 800 though, it could also squeeze to 12 very quickly. So that's kind of the game that you're playing on Car.
Dude, there's like zero volume on any of these calls, but they have the chain open to 910. But there's no open interest. There's no vol. It's almost like the market makers are adding them day by day because the stock keeps going up, right?
Yeah. So it's all open interest. There's no volume. I mean, there's all volume. There's no open interest. That's, I think, what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's because they're literally having to open them every day. Just like the same thing happened in GME. Although, look, we've already made the squeeze. This one reminds me of someone in our group asked me about it. It reminds me. Do you remember Viacom CBS? No, he's not even listed anymore.
No, I remember that. They got squeezed, or they got an acquisition.
Yeah, well, there was a fund that had like over. They were leveraged to the hilt. Basically, like 90% of their fund was in the one stock. I don't know who that is for Avis, but this looks like something like that. This does not look retail driven to me. This looks like a single fund is like just moving this right now, quite frankly.
Oh, it is. It's two funds. That was disclosed today. It's two funds that have inside ownership over 10%.
Who is it?
SRS, and I forgot the name of the other one.
Oh, yeah. And so if they're leveraged on that, then
well, they can't sell. Here's the thing, because they're in a quiet period and they're technically insiders now because they have 10% of the company. So Wall Street Journal said they can't sell till September, basically.
Well, they could get margin calls, which is what happened to Archegos.
I mean, yeah, that potentially.
So that's what you have to.
They keep going up.
No, like, yeah. So I guess that's where you're at. So like, it's hot. It's hot. This could be 1,200 tomorrow. It could be 300 tomorrow.
Yeah. Netflix.
Netflix.
So put in the chat if you're buying the dip on this, because the earnings objectively were not good, but retail. On Netflix. But retail's loaded up heavy on Netflix. So I'm curious if people are just taking the 20% they got from 70 and leaving, because there's definitely better opportunities. I think you would agree with Jason. Or are you buying the dip here?
Are you going to buy the dip?
I never got into Netflix, so no.
Right. So are you going to buy the dip?
Well, do you own this?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't buy the dip because I never owned it. So I mean, like,
well, you can buy the dip because you haven't owned it and you don't own it.
Dip,
so you
105
totally
to 93. The dip was 70. The dip is not 93.
Why not?
Because 108 was fake last week. Like that was not real. Obviously, this is not a dip. It's ugly, but it's not a dip.
Why is it not a dip?
The dip was 130 to 70, which I missed. And if you got it, congrats. But I'm not getting it at 93.
Dude, the thing is, would you have sold it anyways? Like, do you even know where the sell?
I would have been out at 95 the day they announced. The day they got the $3 billion freaking termination agreement, I would have been out. I would not have held on. No. I don't know where they're gonna get more content from. I really don't see where that vision is.
I think it's close. You see 87. I think you got to buy a share, dude. One share.
Are you buying the dip? Do you like it here or no?
I just told you 87. I'll probably add a little bit under 88. Okay. And this might actually just be it right here, right now at 92. It's very this is about 50% from that 75 low to 110 high. Technically, any minute is when this should stop, but it's as low as 87s.
Yeah, Austin's saying that's when I sold the day of the deal. I mean, yeah, you missed a little bit of a run up to 100, but basically it's at the same price, right? That it was the day they
yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's like it was 75. Are you going to take?
I don't see it going back to 75. Yeah, I just don't see it going back down to the 70s. But could it go back to the 80s? Yeah, I mean,
well, they keep asking me about, dude. They're gonna pull an Amazon, and they're gonna start not letting you give your mom your Netflix account anymore, or your children. I swear to God, I'm getting those notifications. I'm like, dude, shit.
Zeta.
I think also exactly where it should be. There's a bounce level from 14 right into that 18, high 18s. 1730 is that near-term support. So very much like what I'm seeing at the index level, we can get a little bit of a pullback across the board, but I think the first dips get bought. And if we can make new highs from there, so meaning first dips in the 17s, probably get bought, especially ahead of earnings. And as long as from there you can crack 19, this looks much better. But if the $17 dip gets bought, goes up to, I don't know, 18 and 18.25, and then gets sold off again, don't like that.
Yeah,
so
I
these
agree.
These are all like consolidation, toppy, and we want to see what the next move basically is.
And I think earnings is the catalyst, and they've got to break through 20 on earnings for this to really move. Like
It's got to
time.
do it. It's
gotta
time.
do it.
It's time.
Google.
Support YOLO. Is that what we're doing here?
Basically.
What was the ticker? Sorry.
The Googs.
The Googs. The Googs is weak today, but it kind of saved itself towards the end. Or actually, Trump saved a lot of stuff. This was looking real hot, like it was going to come in real hot. So the Googs is definitively at overhead resistance. If you're gonna, this year is exactly the spot where a lower high would show up after breaching the recent lows, making a new low. So this is lower low, and this is a lower high. This is where shorts show up, literally right here. So this is where you'd want to be more cautious than optimistic. A good retest is like to hold set 320. I think if you see 320, I think you could expect to see even 320 from here. And if that gets bought up, that's going to be very constructive. But Google's got earnings April 29th also. So this is another one where like this big pre-earnings run has happened. And we just expect to see some near-term traders take a little bit of profit. And hopefully these things can kind of base out. And so for Google, that looks somewhere around 320 to 315-ish as a basic pullback. And then we'll see.
But you like Amazon more than this one right
now? I always like Amazon when it's cheaper than Google. Like always. I think that's kind of like a thing for me. And that's also why I didn't ride the rest of the Google wave all the way up. I did okay, but I definitely didn't get all the way through. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm showing it's 328 down to 317. Do not want to see this below 317. That would be very lame. But a basic pullback is into that general area. But I do like Amazon more than Google at this moment. Just they have a little extra momentum. They have some good moves. I'm not a big fan of Jassy. I don't really care for new money into either of them. I think they're perfectly fine on both. I think Amazon and Google can all pull back, but they don't have to either. I talked about 240s on Amazon and basically talk as a pullback. I'm basically talking about 320s on Google as a pullback. So they're similar, but if I were to pick, it's probably Amazon. Neither one of them look horrible.
MRVL.
Oh my God, dude.
This one's done well for you.
Like, what are we doing here?
Look at the memes.
Well, one hell of a trade and investment. When we first talked about this is literally the move that we were talking about. So I'm going to go back into the Wayback Machine just for a minute. And we're going to pull this back to a weekly scale. And we're just going to look at the marvelous Marvel.
You say marvelous? That's something I would do. That is something I'm rubbing off on you, bro.
Yeah. So end of May is earnings. Again, you know, hyperscaler stuff, Amazon deal, it's all good. It sounds squeezy for sure. It looks squeezy, definitely. We're sitting at 132 billion market cap. If you were in it for a trade, I think you can, you know, start to scale out. If honestly, if you're in it for an investment, I think the question is like, do you really believe that custom silicon is going to be the winner over NVIDIA, or are they constantly going to be in a battle, tug of war? And I think that's the real. I think that's the real question. This is 180s. So just saying, this should 168 to 180 is where this should go on. If you go into the Wayback Machine and you look at the first time I talked about Marvell, it was, or maybe earlier, it was for this trade into the 180s, potentially over 200s. If I double this consolidation, that is 210 right there. So that's what this trade was always set up to be. Does it get there right now? I don't know. I don't really care, quite frankly, either. Like 130 was that prior all-time high. Dude, a couple days sideways up there, never broke below it, and just boom, gapped up over that level on the Amazon news, heading into the high 170s, low 180s. I think that's where it takes another break. But it's pretty much in an active move right now. So as long as it's over 150, it's heading there. Yeah, I think this is becoming a more speculative part of the market, but I don't think that they're questioning this. It's like, it's just literally that question of like, okay, we all know that NVIDIA was going to be a big winner. We've known it for a very long time. But then people are like, well, why don't I take this side bet, right? Yeah, and you know, maybe somebody like a Marvell or a Astera Labs or whoever, Intel, AMD, whatever, right? There's a new story that is the shiny thing, which keeps NVIDIA stunted, right, for a while, or maybe even provides you some kind of dips on NVIDIA. I don't think NVIDIA is gonna lose the battle at all. He's definitely not quitting anytime soon. So like, the question is just like, the market, I think, is asking, is it actually a zero-sum game? Do all roads really lead back to NVIDIA, or can I spread out my bets a little bit? That's really what I'm seeing. And because these are much smaller market caps than an NVIDIA, I don't think it takes a whole hell of a lot to get these things moving like this.
Yeah, and the good news didn't stop for Marvell. Pretty much for the past 2 weeks, Google TPUs was like,
yeah. Good news is Amit's like epically long Marvell too. So I mean, it's very good.
I'm not, but I'm hoping your Qualcomm becomes Marvell again.
Qualcomm is different. So Qualcomm is very much the edge. That's it totally different. So it's, when I say edge, it's like the edge. So chips and so they have mobile, obviously, but they have that AI 200, which is, they have the oh God, it's not the wealth fund. It's a sovereign AI. It's literally sovereign AI. They have an order, right, for like a massive order. But the build out is going to show up. I don't think you're going to see revenue this quarter, but if they start talking about it and the theme changes around this, I think that becomes a new story. And this would be that Qualcomm 2.0, or not Marvell 2.0. But what I'm talking about here on Qualcomm is literally like Marvell right here. Like I'm talking about Marvell at about $75 right now on Qualcomm. So yeah, we got a nice little pop. Can we go sideways? Absolutely. Can we get a dip on earnings? Absolutely. And then pop sideways and then 2027. That's what I'm looking at. So nice little pop. I want to hold the relative lows. This is actually very good. It was a good technical spot as well. Like a very good technical spot on Qualcomm. So happy to take that. Also, oops, not from that low. It was from one of the lower ones. These guys. I don't know what it was. One of these. Yeah, I think you trade against the 120s, and as long as it's over as long as this is over 130, this is still happening to me. So nice little dip to not even a dip. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's not even a dip. I like Qualcomm. I'm looking left. I have this area 130 prior resistance, future support. Was support in April 2025, Liberation Day. Is that Liberation Day?
Yeah.
Support just recently. Pull back 131 and hold. I think we're good.
Bloom Energy.
I think I'm good. Bloom, dude, what a beast. This thing is out of control, bro. Like really, what? This is what I'm talking about. The freaking data set. Like, look at this. The Bears had every opportunity. This is what's so funny and why it's like very hard to be bearish. The Bears had every opportunity to take this thing down at a $200 level, $200, teetering. They couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
That's what makes me continue to feel we are moving into a new paradigm for this market. We are kind of done with this Iran war sluggishness, and earnings is what matters. And deals, the 2.8 gigawatt deal with Oracle, that's massive for Bloom. It's getting a premium, even if the valuation's extended.
60, it's still 60 billion, right? Yeah, I think this is, listen, maybe it's the next bubble. Maybe it's not. I will say that there are a lot of names in here. They're probably all going to keep running, but like at a certain point, there will be fake ones that end up not being real. And a lot of these will probably not survive. But the general thesis, I don't think we're close to that yet. At least not this quarter. I mean, it is a new high, 230. It's a low float. You got earnings coming in hot again, end of April, April 28th. Look, it's in a consolidation phase. If it's below 200, cool. Expect. I wouldn't even say 200. 197. Then I would expect a bit of a pullback into the 170s. But that's it, really. And that would still be a long. Just trail it out, let it ride.
Rubric.
I bought this. I think I did okay. I honestly, I bought this like 45 just strictly on, what do you call it? Vibes. Strictly on vibes and
Software
market.
Vibes.
Nah, well, so Rubik I think is hardware, and software. But on market cap vibes, it was like 8 billion or something. And I was like, oh, that's like cheap. So I could be totally wrong. But it's consolidating right now. It's not out of the weeds yet by any means. It's barely over the 50-day and 20-day. It's nice. It's a nice bounce. Actually, it's a pretty solid bounce. Compared to the other bounces in the market, though, it's not that great. So as long as this is holding, I'd say like the high 40s, like 49s, this is at least going to make a concerted effort to try to bounce a little bit more. But I don't think this would be done. A better bounce is into the 60s, mid 60s. But I can see this to 60 very quickly also on just a basic short squeeze. This is still constructive, looking decent. I like
Oscar?
it. I have not looked at this.
This one's up heavy from the lows.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always up heavy from 13 every time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then it hits about 18 and then it goes down heavy. So I don't have a reason for that to change necessarily. But again, this is one where like, if you like it long-term, I just think you accumulate, you know, in the very low teens and sell like 20-something dollar calls up here. But they have earnings coming. This is a squeezy stock. I don't know that healthcare is in vogue, like in right now, but it's at least getting more constructive. Software. I mean, not healthcare. Healthcare is getting more constructive, but it's not quite there yet. It's a good base to trade off of the 13s. I think you're good.
App Lovin.
What are you doing here, dude? Again, resistance. You're literally right on it. Wow. So 470, 489 resistance. Just hit that like a brick wall today, huh? That's nearly the prior all-time high. So a little what we call back and fill is like to be expected. 430 is general support, but again, this one I would just continue to ride the current trend. If you caught the dip at sub 4 in the 3s, I think you're fine. If you see low to mid 4s, maybe you take a stab at it to trade against the local lows, like the recent lows of 350s. But it's a tougher one. Earnings in May, you got a nice little pre-earnings bounce, but you would need IGV as a sector to be on the mend here, I think, or at least advertising. Like you'd want to probably look at shop at the same time here. It's not really advertising, but yeah, these things can move pretty quick. It's a hard one, dude. I got to skip. I don't really like it. It's at resistance. I think your first pop is done. I say that with a grain of salt. I hope so. But I would either wait for more strength. Otherwise, if it presses slightly higher, it's 550s to 6. If you're already in it, you stay the course. It's not a short. And it's a very just trailing long here.
Next decade.
I like this under 7. I think you got it for a little bit. That was pullback. This and VG, same. We had measured some pullbacks on both of these. They both went exactly. I mean, next decade was actually not even there. So 690 yesterday. Back up to date. It's constructive. Look, these stocks like this, like a next decade or VG, listen, they're pre-earning, or VG next decade, Jesus, is pre-revenue. So like if you want to accumulate, you accumulate sub 7 and be here. I think what's cool about next decade is that a lot of the build out risk has already happened. This is not gas, not like crude. So it's a little bit of different story. Nat gas doesn't have the same kind of like strategic reserves, but because of that, I think this has a little bit more upside than nat gas, or than like oil names specifically. But I like this from an accumulation perspective. I don't think it's done by any means.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, SpaceX says it has the right to acquire Cursor for $60 billion.
The right?
Do you know what Cursor is? Oh, so Cursor is like an AI software, AI coding assistant. I just got a tweet. SpaceX, is this from SpaceX? SpaceX and Cursor are now working closely together to create the world's best coding and knowledge work. The combination of Cursor's leading product and distribution expert software engineers with SpaceX's million H100 equivalent Colossus training supercomputer will allow us to build the world's most useful models. Cursor has also given SpaceX the right to acquire them for $60 billion later this year. Wow, dude. They're buying Cursor. So Cursor was the original Claude code. You know, Claude Code and Codex have taken over the world. Enterprise. Cursor and Windsurf were the two first startups to. Which begs the question: are they actually worth 60 billion, or is he trying to juice up the IPO story by adding?
What kind of a question is that? You know exactly what the answer is.
But why? Like, Cursor's not even consistent with anything SpaceX does. Now, XAI, I could understand them buying it. I get SpaceX has bought XAI, but is Elon just going to buy a bunch of AI startups and put them into SpaceX at that point? That is, wow. That is, that's incredible. Okay. Yeah, bullish Replit. Replit's another vibe coding platform. Where the hell is 60 billion? Because SpaceX does not have 60 billion. Well, they're going to raise 75 billion in cash. So maybe some of that will, obviously they're going to dilute with stock. They're definitely going to give Cursor a stock to make it happen.
Is this ETF on my screen like actually the best one for this Stack Capital?
I've never heard of this. What is this?
Oh, really?
What is STCK?
It's they own a lot of SpaceX and a lot. It's a Canadian one. Investment holding company. Private investments, large scale. You have to look at what they own. Stack Capital. They are very much Canva, SpaceX, Databricks. I think those are
you
the
can't buy it on. You can't buy it on. Is it a closed end fund?
No,
I think it is. You can't buy it on Robinhood. STCK, yeah. Yeah, it's not available on the NASDAQ. Oh, it's Canadian, so yeah, it's not available on a bunch of those.
Oh.
But the point is, it's just weird that they're like, I think the acquisition theoretically makes sense for XAI, which is an AI company, which I could see acquiring a startup like Cursor. But under SpaceX, it's just a lot of junk inside of SpaceX now. So if you buy a share of SpaceX, you're getting Cursor, you're getting Twitter, you're getting XAI, you're getting the actual business, which is disconnected from the story.
Do you really want the terminal model though, or do you want like the open claw?
What do you mean?
You say it's Claude Code, like the one through the terminal?
No, so Cursor was like the first AI coding assistant. And it's really good. And they're doing like billions in revenue. I think their last valuation was like 40 billion. But Claude Code and Codex then took that use case and they just like made it really viral in the enterprise. A lot of people thought they would kill Cursor. They didn't. But I think Cursor also knows they're not going to be a $1 trillion company or even a $200 billion company because Claude Code and Codex are just too good.
Yeah.
And then Windsurf also got hit pretty hard from that. So I don't think the 60 billion price tag is crazy. I just think SpaceX buying them means they're trying to find ways to diversify the revenue streams, I guess, at this point. But there you go. That's what we got from SpaceX. Jason, I'll give it to you. Is there any stock that's catching your attention this week? Anything you're looking at?
For the group?
Dude, look at Dell. That is crazy. Like, Dell feels like a bubble. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. Dell feels like a bubble. It's not, because it's a shitty margin hardware business. They've got a lot of
What are you talking
demand.
about, dude? You know Dell has like 20-point margins, right?
No, they don't. What do you mean 20? You think what 20%
For the company, dude.
I do not think operating margins. I think you're wrong about that.
Look it up.
I will look it up, but I think you're wrong about that. The point is, dude, when has a hardware company like Dell ever had this big of a run? Like, I get it. SMCI had a bad rap. A lot of demands going to
He asked this question, and I'm like, really, dude? Really? 22,000? Like this? Like this?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It feels kind of like that. But
what was Dell then? In the 2000s?
So gross margins are 7%. I need to go through their operating margins. Non-GAAP gross margins are 7%. Non-GAAP gross margin. I mean, I like it, and I wouldn't short it here. It's just, my goodness, like, it's had a hell of a run.
Look at this is my list, dude. Like my list is out of control. These steel names are going parabolic.
What do you think about Intel? Do you still have it? I think you bought it at 40.
Yeah, I trimmed some though. I think Cisco's $90.
Wait, Cisco is 90? Oh,
89.70.
Year to date, that's up 18%. Wow, it's outperforming NVIDIA.
Oh, did you get your tweet out? 82.
Tweet?
If you had held Cisco for last, oh no, that was Cisco. Cisco was the more recent from the 2000, whatever, what do you call this? From the .com era. You are up. If you held Cisco for the last 25 years, you're now up 9.5%.
Would you buy Intel here? Or because I don't even think you could stomach buying Intel here. But it's probably going up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. Look at my list though, dude. Like these are my stock. So Synopsys on any and all pullbacks. Cadence on any and all pullbacks. I did just, so these are, do you know what expediters are? So there's some, again, not for your stream. These are probably different than what you're used to doing. So there are two shipping companies that I like. Shipping, I know it's weird, but like you go to the stack. So when you ship gear from Taiwan, TSM to like US, you use from port to home, like you use two companies, really. I say you, in my experience, you use two companies. First company is called Expeditors. These guys are international specialists specifically for gear, for IT gear. It was always this, because these can get you through customs very quickly. So a nice pullback on Expeditors International. Again, it's not super crazy. This thing has not started. Well, it's going, but it's after a pullback, a good pullback, heading into earnings. This is a layup to me. The other one is Saya. Already had a little bit of a bounce. This is less than truckload. Once it gets to the US, we would typically use Saya to ship the last mile, if you will, of that gear. I think those are good, at least for your watch. I mean, if you want to go international, this is Foxconn, HNHPF. I don't think if you like servers or any of that, I don't think you can go wrong with Foxconn. This is like an 80% monopoly on all data center gear that actually gets built at Foxconn. Yeah, I'll bro, my charts. Look at my charts. What are we doing here?
There's a bull market in data center.
Raging bull market. What am I saying? Like,
it is quite incredible. I mean, and people know some of the hot names of like Celestica, GLW, et cetera, but there's a lot of unknowns.
GLW is not even hot right now, right? Because they're like, oh, on Credo.
Yeah, Caterpillar. Dougie has been calling that for a while.
Quanta. Yeah, Quanta's a never sell. GEV never sell.
Dude, Amcor, all-time high.
Amcor, ASX never sell. Like, not, at least not this round, right? Look at my list though, dude. Okay, EQ. I mean, that's not gas though, right? Texas. Okay, so the microchip, the board companies. So Texas Instruments. This is going to probably be MCHP, microchip technology. There you go. Boom. On semiconductor, probably. Boom. There you go. So this is the next phase. So these are the circuit boards. Circuit boards are in that fab like manufacturing piece. If you're going to build out the edge, circuit boards, things like that. There you go. What was that? APD. Air Products International. This is like your helium basically monopoly. It is really hard to find a bad chart in this sector of the market. MP, Does not look bad. But this is so bad. So, I mean,
Okay, let's do like 7, 8 more, and then we'll be done for the day. IRDM, Space Communications One.
Iridium.
Iridium. What do you think?
Yeah, we've done that on your show before.
Yeah.
Oh, SOLS is one that I'm kind of interested in. This was the spinoff from Honeywell. So, can I do this one real quick?
Yep, go ahead.
So I don't have a position on here. I'm super interested in this. Solstice Advanced Materials is it's like, if you like liquid cooling, this is the liquid that goes in liquid cooling and that stuff. But and they serve the data center space. This was a spinoff from Honeywell. What's interesting on this, if a lot of this move, I think, is on multiple expansion. Honeywell specifically spinning this company off is interesting because it's coming out of having a Honeywell multiple, which is not that. It's not a premium multiple, but this thing was 40. I missed it. It's already at 80. It's consolidating. I think do a little bit of math and find out what a multiple should be. That's the one thing I haven't done here. Sitting at 12 billion. I need to do the math. It's the only reason I don't have a position here on what a multiple would be for a company like this. But I think this is a very interesting play simply on multiple expansion. All right, Iridium. This is a satellite company. This is, if you go ASTS, Iridium, whatever. Look, this is not a new stock. This is as old as my parents. Sorry, mom, dad, whatever. This stock has been around for forever. I think that this one will last the test of time. So if I'm going to buy one, like actually buy it, like this has always been the one that I would do. It's get the space multiples. It's really hot. You're asked last time we talked about it. I think we talked about it 20 going to 30, and it had made that trek between 20 and 30 for a while, right? And that's right in here. 2024 to 2025 broke down a little bit, and now is over that. Literally. So 35 was the highs and the upside is 40. So you are in an active breakout over 41.40. You can continue to go, and this should be into the 50s next. So that is Iridium. Very old school company, not going anywhere. Just it's a question of valuation. If you're over 40, what is that? 41. Then it's on its way to 50 right now.
Okay. ALL, Allstate.
This is insurance. I depending on what they're insuring. This is an interesting one. I think this is like a stable. This is an investment question. There's no way you're trading this. Like you don't trade this. As long as it's over 180, you're 175, you're perfectly fine. This is a go nowhere stock for a long time, but it's just finally starting to peek its head over. It's not happening just yet. I don't see a reason for insurance to break out necessarily, but it's a very steady mover.
Nike.
Okay, I just feel like they're not hearing me on the theme, right? So like, what are we doing? Are you doing that or are they doing that?
Dudes, okay, so as much as you want to say there's a theme, people are emotional with stocks, and there's a lot of people, unfortunately, bag holding Nike. Like it is what it is.
Bag hold it, absolutely. I love to be a dude. Everybody loves a good bag holder.
Oh, I've been a good bag holder on plenty of names, but this one in particular, dude, the engagement on X when you tweet about Nike, people, I didn't realize that many people own this stock.
Oh yeah, dude, it's blue chip. I mean, it's what you would have considered blue chip in the past.
No, but IBM is blue chip, and you know what I'm saying? Like why are people obsessed with Nike over?
Yes, I know blue chip. Yeah. I mean, so Nike can just be Nike. I don't know the multiple unless Cook says he's going to be the CEO. Look, if Cook says he's going to be the CEO of Nike, expect 100% increase overnight. Right?
Well, what probability would you give that?
What?
I give it like a 2% chance.
Oh, dude, God, you're pretty heavy on that, don't you think? I mean, don't you think he would at least take a vacation first?
No, but like, do you think he would ever come back and take over Nike?
Cook?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But like, not this year, not next year. Like, give him at least a year to go on a vacation. But yeah, it's if this is back over 50, like in strength, actually, I'm sorry. If this is back over, yeah, like 55, I think it's cool. Like you could play. You can't assume that it's done though. There's no reason. I don't see this telling me that it's done yet in the charts. Is it a bit extended to the downside? Is it very possible to squeeze all the way to 57 and still be a short? All of those answers are yes. But for now, what I would say is zooming in. Let's just actually get your answer here. This is 5340 is that earnings high on the last earnings report. I'm going to take the low, which is 42, and I'm going to get a fib measurement. 50% recovery from that earnings high to the earnings low. Again, high of 53, low of 42. Takes me to $47.78. It's not even there yet. So, I mean, it should at least get there. An actual retracement is just under 50, about 49.95. I would actually expect it to, if it does really good, I would expect it to kind of like chill in here and then up to 55. And then you can see if that's worth it, that's fine. I just scanned through, I don't know, 20, 30 charts that have way more than 16% upside on them. This one has about that. If you trade against the recent lows.
Elf?
Guys fucking with me, dude. Sorry, kids.
Someone said Jason's TA heart can't understand people's love.
I can, but I don't think that you're fishing in the pond that doesn't have a lot of fish. Next to a fully stocked pond.
No, look, it's fair. There's a sector of the market that's taking off, and then there's other sectors that just aren't.
It doesn't mean that this can't be the next one, but yeah. Across the board, what you've asked me about, what this tickers, whether it's Celsius, Nike, or ELF, you could kind of just take a broad swath and say, what category, what industry is this? What sector is that? Those are all the same sectors, right? Staples.
Retail staples, yeah.
Consumer staples. So XLP.
No.
So I would say, take a look at this sector, XLP. It's not breaking down, but it's not going higher, right? If XLP as a sector is, say, over 85, then, all right, these guys should catch a bid, meaning they should go up a little bit. I think that's the right sector for these guys. But until then, this kind of looks like they're chopping sideways. They may be basing. Again, you have earnings coming. I think this is a pretty heavy earning. ELF is wow, dude. ELF moves on earnings. ELF moves a lot on earnings. So how much makeup do we import from the Strait of Hormuz?
That's a good question.
Panda says GDX. GDX is the one short that I would be actively short for
gold
sure.
Miners? You're short gold miners?
I mean, yes, but if you think that, like, so it doesn't have to work, but it's definitely a lower high after a decisive lower low, and that's lower high is exactly a bearish retracement right in here. I do have a short on this. Miners in general, their biggest cost is gas, actual gas. And so if you believe that gas is going to stay elevated for a while and gold doesn't have to go down, but gold just goes sideways, that's the biggest headwinds for that combination is literally the biggest headwind for gold miners specifically. Gold does not have to go down for these guys to go down, although gold specifically also relatively weak right now. And then you look at the dollar itself coming out of support. This is more about like Warsh and what he's going to say. But again, if you just think that, if you think that gas will stay elevated through the majority of this year, I say elevated over 70, that's a headwind for the miners.
Can we do OSS?
Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks good. It's edge. Stock looks good. I don't know this company that well. But again, I think where we are is like, the chart looks good. If you're over, yeah, I got really careful. 933. That was that prior high over here. I would use this on like a weekly or a daily scale because it's such a small cap that like intraday moves can be kind of wild. But if you're trending over 950 for the next few weeks and definitely through earnings, that's constructive. Over 1070, then you have a new breakout on your hands. Yeah, over 1070, and that's to 15s.
Okay. Microsoft has dropped the price of its video game subscription service, and the platform will not include future Call of Duty game releases on launch day.
Oh.
All right.
Is that bullish?
I don't know if that's bullish. I don't play video games, so I have no idea. It doesn't feel bullish. But Redwire. You liked this one earlier last year.
Right. Yeah, but then they had some SPAC stuff and some legal issues. It's looking better. Wrong stock. Do you know about this stock?
No, what's Radware?
Is I used to sell Radware application firewalls to Twitter when Twitter was Twitter pre-Elon, for about $1 million a box, mind you.
What was your commission? 10%? 5%?
No, in that world, we made our own margin, and it was a percentage of margin. I think it was like 20-25%, depending on how much you sold. Radware, security, RDW, Redwire. It's base. It's better. I mean, I wouldn't change anything I said about them. It's just the stock specifically. It's kind of like SMCI, like right thesis, but maybe wrong management. I think, I don't know. The stock has been held back definitely, and it's getting very squeezy. It's not very dependable, and I don't know enough like from the structure perspective of the shares to say one way or the other. From an engineering perspective, yeah, they have better engineers. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything from a stock perspective. This can get very squeezy. Just now getting over the hump. If people like it, they should at least see 14, if not higher.
Lunar? LUNR. Yep.
What do these guys do again?
Satellites, launches.
I mean, so space.
Space. Yep.
Yeah, so space is another theme that's, I think, active right now. So any components in like the whole supply chain of space is probably going to be good. Demand stack, if you will.
Okay, we'll do 3 quick ones, then we'll do Bitcoin and ETH, and we'll end it up for the day. Navitas.
Oh God, this is getting squeezy. So you're very close to it, 17. I mean, you basically made the whole move, 1650. Sorry. Now you're gonna have earnings. So pre-earnings run up. That's a short squeeze right there for sure. Or maybe not even. I don't even know that it's a short squeeze. Can you check short float on this?
Yeah.
It is.
Let me check right now. I believe it's 20%. Navitas is at 20.8.
All right. So that's the first move of a short squeeze. Yeah, I don't know that this one is not that small. I don't believe 3.5 billion.
Yeah.
This is the first stop. If it's over 17, it's over 18, you're probably going to get even more shorts come in, and we'll have to see what happens, but it's 25.
Okay.
Okay.
DLO.
What is that? When do I
DLO,
know?
Latin American payments company.
Oh,
Again, not the sector, obviously not the theme either, but
I would have no opinion on this whatsoever. So I'm just raw charts. This looks like a very stale chart to me. It's just very consolidated, like heavy consolidation here, like a little, whatever you call this. So trade location would be just under 12 for support, and you're at resistance now. 11.7.
Zscaler.
That these guys had some bigger moves. Right? Oh, it doesn't even look that big. Doesn't even look that big.
CrowdStrike went the opposite direction.
Up. I'm on a weekly chart right now.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Yeah. So like Zscaler is smaller cap, smaller company. Definitely higher beta. This has got more room to the upside as a squeeze, like as a short covering rally, not squeeze, but short covering. To 150s, 155. I think you could trade against the local lows. Definitely trade against like 115. I think that's a really interesting spot. I don't hate this at all. At least for like an oversold bounce. I don't know if this is, I feel like this is a little disrespectful, but I don't really know how well they're doing as a company anymore, because I've been out of the industry for so long. So like they used to really give Palo Alto a real good run for their money, direct competitors. I just don't know anymore. I don't even have any friends that work at Zscaler anymore.
Okay, last two, then crypto. Poet.
Oh, this thing is squeezy.
This thing got squeezed hard, yeah.
Yeah. This is your fault, dude.
It's not.
It's still going.
I think what happened here is
up another 4% after hours.
The reason I kind of got interested last week is because I saw the South Koreans getting really. It's Elon's fault because Grok auto translates everything on Twitter. So all I see are South Koreans.
Which is really cool now.
It's very cool, but it's helpful for me to see what the South Koreans are doing. And they love this stock and they hate the short report. And they were threatening to kill that guy when he shorted the stock 2 weeks ago. But this one took off because of MRVL. They're a supplier for MRVL. So I think that's
maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But you have a little bit more. Maybe it was a tweet from a guy I met or mentioned. I don't know.
I haven't tweeted about this. I have not.
Okay. I do like 12s, like loads, like you're basically going to open there tomorrow morning, probably. But
or it gets dumped, bro. This thing gets dumped a lot.
This is literally what I'm saying. So like if it opens there tomorrow morning, I don't know that it goes right away. Support is now 775.
The company could dilute here easily too. I mean, they would kind of be dumb not to, but it's another one of those photonic small caps that's going off.
And it's got earnings, coming.
Well, the worst thing about this is, do you know how many shares the CEO owns?
No.
7,000.
Is that
like? There's a lot of red flags.
What percent is that?
Well, it's $1 billion company. He owns $70,000 of it. So I mean,
is Korean?
No,
or Chinese.
I actually don't know the ethnicity of the owner. I have to
Not the owner, the company.
Or the CEO. Oh, the company?
Yeah.
They were Canadian, but now they're domiciling back to the States because the short report said they were a PFIC. So they're kind of, there's a lot of junk there, bro. There's a lot of stuff there. So I don't even know.
Yeah. Poet CFO confirmed orders from MRVL, waiting to hear back from Foxconn.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, last one, Apple. I'm curious what you think now that you love this company and they got a new CEO.
You know, so it's a transition. I think that 260 is tradable against. What's the month? The month is, it's April. Today's April 21st. I don't think you bet against Apple, dude. I don't think you bet against
I don't think
Apple.
you either. I agree with you. I don't disagree.
So heading into July 4th weekend is Apple and Google's strongest time of year, stronger than any other time of year. What's their next event?
WWDC in June.
June?
Yeah.
I don't even know that you see 260 retest, but if I saw 260 retest, I'm gonna need to do something about that, I think, for real. As in trade this, but you have earnings at the end of the month. Let me get a target here. So I'm actually taking my time here. I'm legitimately thinking about this. So it's
Apple to 300 is the question. When do you think that could happen?
It could make an attempt into July.
What would the catalyst be? Is there catalyst or just TA?
Doesn't matter. Well, I just asked you and you said WWDC.
Yeah, but if they don't introduce anything good there, which they haven't for the past couple of years, right? Like,
what do you mean? I got all these new colors. We got the new like Genmojis. God. Hello. But 273 was a technical resistance level anyways, just oddly like how that happens. If it's over that level, if it's over this 270, whatever this recent high was, 275, and definitely if it's over 278, don't even think about it. It's happening, and it's happening probably in short order within like a couple months into the threes. So I mean that's what the technicals say, and I should buy all dips. Right now the dip is 260. If I get a retest of that prior all-time high at 260, that is the spot at which I would be more than interested in. And if I took all the lines off and I just made this very clean, like, okay, that's not clean. Come on, guys. Take the lines off. It would be, let me go on a weekly chart. Very typical. So here's that prior break retest. If I'm just going to take this and we have this kind of a bounce like that, that's literally how this happens, just like that. So that's why this is about 260. And in that event, the trade is still 300 to 320. Right in here. So anyway I slice it, that's what I would want to look for. If I get that is TBD. But if I don't get that and it's trading over 280, I can chase it into that.
okay.
Speaking.
Bitcoin and ETH to end it out. I'm curious if you think the move to 78 was
No. Yeah, so like that's the first. So I think I said 9, just under 90s, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So all downside targets have hit from the breakdown. That's true. And where we are right now, try to clean this up a little bit, is that 78,531, sorry guys, let me readjust. It takes me a little bit. I know I'm moving the screen around a little bit. I'm just getting everything adjusted correctly. It's from the 48 more recent lows to the 120 and change highs. If this can get over 78.5, which is over this prior support level here, and it is over a bullish retracement, this absolutely should at least see 87.5. If it doesn't at least see that, we are definitely not done going down. It's got to at least see that. When it does see that, I expect a serious pullback all the way back to exactly where it is right now. And at that point, I would want to see some more constructive moves like that. That is the pathing that Bitcoin really needs to take to be very constructive. We're multiple steps away from that. So one tradable move, I think, is possible, very, very close to here, but it doesn't trigger really until it's over 78.5, holding over, call it 79 just to be like clean. And then you have like a $20,000 push that's tradable. That's right into resistance, exactly where it broke down from before. I would expect it. I would assume that it kind of consolidates after that in that, $10,000 box. And then we'll see what happens next. That's Bitcoin. That should happen. It's having a really hard time happening, but it's not there yet. So it's on its way to do that. ETH is similar. It should get to 27.5, at least 27.5. If it can get over to 20, like here, that's that prior resistance here. If it can get over that, it's 31.70. And then I expect that to pull back here and do a little something like this. And in that case, cool. Then you can see that same kind of chop for a while. Expect consolidation. And it's after it gets either up, that would be trajectory to your 4K, or it loses 26 again and it comes back down. But these two, we don't know yet. For right now, you're heading up to, I believe, 26. And you could trade against those local lows. And ultimately 31.70 for, it could take a couple months, but I think that's where it's going to try to go. It should, like I said, it should at least get close to that. Just even close to that. And again, back to the box, right, of ETH. Like if this is the box that we're talking about from here to here, and we have one kind of like basic support area, we're just trading the edges, and you'd be looking essentially to take profit around exactly what I was just saying, about 3,700, something like that, just from a tradable bounce, and then up, back, fill, and then we'll see. But we don't know until then. From here now, like once this goes, if this can get any higher, I mean, your center point's about 27. So that's what that's literally what I'm outlining. I think we should at least get there. If we can get through there, cool, then we can talk about this. But I can't really talk about that until we get through that first hurdle. Not realistically, at least.
So Beam and R MicroStrategy, same thoughts, basically stuck with this.
Similar thoughts. I don't know if those are going to be the best vehicles. I mean, they have their own headwinds right now. Yeah. I don't know that they can trade as clean proxies anymore. I just don't. Like BMNR's got freaking beast industries. I don't want to be an investor in that personally. They got all kinds of other stuff. MSTR has a boatload of other like Ponzi vehicles that it's working on that I just don't really, it's very hard to understand. So I don't know that MSTR specifically gets the pump, but maybe it does. I would say from a crypto perspective, take it however you want to trade it. I don't know that the old proxies remain the new proxies. I just don't know because they're more complicated than this. Crypto absolutely respects technicals, but they don't have earnings. They don't have side businesses or side investments like those companies, or debts to pay. So it's not as clean as this.
Right. Okay, folks, that is what we've got for today. I think the takeaway right here is not super bearish because the bulls keep stepping in. We got to clear 720. I think, Jason, you said to.
Yeah, I think it's important to really like skim through your tickers right now and again look for that relative strength. I think there is a raging bull market in the right sectors, and other sectors are more kind of set up for some short squeezes, and there's a lot of profit taking that could happen in the meantime, which might just keep the S&P and the high level index stagnant, slightly sideways to down near term while we get through peak earnings. There are a lot of companies still coming as we watch earnings. So get your list out, the AI data stack, whatever. I think that's the raging bull market. Like dips in there, I love. While we get through earnings, watch to see if the winners get rewarded more than the losers get punished. That theme is going to give us a little hint of where the market's appetite for risk is. And then after earnings season, again, it's more into the, what does Powell do with this transition over to Warsh? How does GDP come in? And what's the market's very fickle. So after we get through earnings, the market's immediately going to ask, what do I have to look forward to next? And if that answer is not an easy, if that's not an easy answer, I think the easy money might have been made in certain names. So that's kind of like where we are. And so I think it's going to be a very eventful earnings season, though.
We're not going to be live next Tuesday because we have Hood earnings.
Oh, no. Why can't we be live for Hood earnings?
I mean, you could join us, but we're not going to do Technical Tuesday for Hood
We're just going to trade it. Are we going to trade it?
Dude, I just hope the stock is flat. I'm not even asking for it to be up because I know the numbers are going to suck for Q1. So I'm just hoping the market is okay with it. But what is the number one company you're looking forward to next week? I'll put up the calendar right here. Or are there any that are like really, you're like, hey, I think that's one that I want to play.
Play,
take a trade, or you're just looking at because you're like, man, I'm scared if that company messes up, it ruins everything.
So like I was saying, Synopsys and Cadence, I think, are stupid right now. So like those, I think if they do decent, like, or the market's gonna be like, oh shit, this is dumb. We'll go right back. In terms of like,
I feel like, okay, here's a better question. Out of the four, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google, which one do you think can get away with messing up? And which one do you think cannot by any means get away with missing earnings or bad guidance or anything like that?
Google cannot get away with it.
Really? I think Google has been kind of a sleeper the past couple months because they did so well last year.
That's why. Because they've done so well. It's been such a huge turnaround story. There's a lot of profits in just over a year that could be taken. You can't say that for Microsoft or Amazon, not the same way. So that literally for that reason, I would say Google's the one that you can't mess up.
I would say Meta can't mess up.
Oh, Meta.
It was just in the gulag, you know.
Wait, you didn't give me that as an option.
No, it's right there. Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. That's what I'm saying. Out of those four.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Amazon could mess up, but it's barely up, right? So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's gonna be okay. And then Microsoft, I think the software index in general will hopefully help it from reaching those lows again.
Yeah. I mean, I like my Rivian, dude. my thesis on Rivian outperforming Tesla this year, at least, is actually kind of like working right now. But not that that's, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of stuff that they still need to do. But yeah, I think some of the software names, like a Rubric, probably are going to be really interesting.
Reddit next week. Interesting.
Oh yeah, Reddit.
Reddit sure. And ZETA are the same day, and Rivian. Reddit, ZETA, Rivian.
Yeah, Reddit for sure is a mover. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, hi, yeah. I got a lot of stuff. What is Camtech coming? Oh, geez. Yeah.
You got a lot of names next week. Next week, I think next week is like almost 30% of the S&P.
Yeah, that's why we're doing the webinar this Thursday, because it's now people are like, oh, it's here, earnings season is here, and it's just in time for like get prepared for the big week. This is like playoffs week for.
This is literally playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the webinar. You can sign up for that. It's on Thursday, which is 2 days from now at what, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's usually about 2 hours. You know, stay at the end. We give some cool stuff away. We'll give away some cool stuff in the beginning, but yeah, it will be recorded, but not like you'd have to log back in. It's through the platform. It's automatic. I'm not gonna save it as a separate thing. And no, like show up if you want the recording. There's no reason to. You got to be there to understand, and there's a lot of open Q&A. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, dude.
Yeah, I think a decent amount of people signed up. If it's not working, just check a different browser and it should be good to go. All right, that is it for us. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll be live with the market open tomorrow. Tesla earnings after the bell tomorrow.
So tomorrow, I want to hear about, I'm over my, okay. So tomorrow, yeah, very interested to see what Terafab build looks like. I mean,
Elon's going to have plenty to say on that call tomorrow.
Right?
And we have service now too. So
yeah, I'm not even interested about like Tesla stock. I'm just like, I want to hear like how much is he spending on the data center, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.